Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all you fine folks out there and all the usual suspects. Just going to do our usual audio check here. See what we got here. Make sure she is working well. And go from there. Let me see here. Let's get adjusted here. Put this over here. Oh, yeah. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to all you fine folks out there and all the usual suspects. Just going to do our usual audio check here. See what we got. Okay, we are working. Let's see. I'll go up here. Let me just get things together here, guys and ladies. Let's see. Oh, yeah. All the smooth criminals are in there tonight. Arts and Crafts is in there. Good evening to you. Renee Cruz is in there. And let's see. John Sharp, what's going on? Oh, Mimi Reacts is in there. What's going on, Pat? Good to see you there. Mr. Pat Morris is in the house. Ricardo Petrozzi's in there. Renee Cruz says, woo, 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 pump it up. UFO community, because Mars Anomalies and Beyond is live. Yes, we are. Let me put this on so we can scare all you guys. Oh, there we are. No, I'm kidding. Let's see. Derek Balno says, let's do this. Oh, we're going to do this. Let me see. I'm just want to... Renee Von Oosterhout's in there. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Limey Watcher's in there. Good evening there, Mr. Limey Watcher. Josh D's in the house. Elaine Millard's in there. Photography Light Magic's in there. Good evening to you. I forget exactly where everybody's at. I know you're here in the States, I believe, photography. I could be wrong, so you can remind me of that. Let's see. John Sharp says, press the thumbs up. Hit it. I say hit it good. Let me see. Paul McCoon's in there. He says, hi, Chris, and everyone from Northern Ireland. What's happening, Paul? Hope you're doing well across the pond. Corey Cor's in there. What's going on, Corey? Alien Hunting Dragon. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Tyler Two Chains says, hello, Chris. I'm excited to finally catch a live hangout. Listening live from Salt Lake City, Utah. Sweet. The only thing that would make tonight better is an ice cold beer. Keep up the hard work. I appreciate it, Tyler. I really do. And yeah, if you happen to get one of those beers, just tilt a couple back for me too as well, right? And Ricardo, yes, we will definitely check out that Ingenuity video. Yeah. Let's see. Obi-Wan's in the house. What's going on there, Obi-Wan? Good question. When is the first contact? What do you guys think? I think that might have come and gone a long time ago. What do you guys think? At least with the elite, we'll say, right? Maybe that's already happened. What do you guys think? Catman Dude, what's going on? He said, hi, Chris. TGIF. Yes, indeed. Thank God it is Friday. Of course, I'm not as pumped as you guys because I got to work in the morning. But it's still, we usually get through it pretty quick. It's not too bad. And then we can start our weekend, so it wasn't too bad. And today I didn't work at all. It's supposed to be my day off, but I always work it. Had to do a couple of things around the house and went and changed the oil in the car, did a few things I wanted to do it. Just do a little upkeep, you know. Keep it running really good. Last thing I want to do is have the wheels fall off of it. That would not be good. Why are we buffering? What's going on? What is going on, guys? Why are we buffering? Not good. What do you guys think of that? I just seen a buffering here. At least on the end you guys are seeing, I saw a buffering. Of course, mine is feeding and doing normal. But for some reason, it went on a buffer. Not good. But the show rolls on. Let's see. Lots of crowds says, everybody get your snacks ready. Well, I got a little Subway, a little piece of chocolate here if I get hungry. I mean, a lot of times, yeah, I can't wait to eat when I'm done. You know how that goes. Dark Chalk, what's going on? Good to see you in there. You're the same one who's been in there a long time ago, right? Good to see you back in there. Bushcraft Survival, a Jack only. What's going on? Good to see you in there. Jay McGuffey's in there. It takes me 10 minutes to share it. Ricardo, you said audio is 5x5, like the greeting, just like George Norrie from Coast to Coast. Yes. It's been a long time since I've watched George. Every now and then, if somebody will say, hey, can you check this video out? And it'll have, of course, Coast to Coast. And, yeah, I like George a lot. He's a good guy. Just seems like a real chill kind of guy, right? Mimi Reacts says, Chris, your last video was amazing. Yeah, we're going to go over that, too. Because, like, I already had it in my head, and I think I even mentioned it in the video that a couple people are going to say, what's the chance of these being pixelations? About -0. Absolutely 0. So, yeah. Charles Anderson says, Nanu. He's Mork for Mork. Oh, Doc Chuck, you are. He said, doing great. Good to hear, man. Definitely good to hear. Yes, Renee, had the BMT. Had like a little bit of it before I got on, so I'll try not to be on too long and pass out. That wouldn't be good. Be like, right off the camera, everybody's like, what the hell just happened? So, yeah, not good. Pat Owen, he said, hey, Chris, I'm glad to catch your live stream. Well, I appreciate it, Pat. Seemed to me you were on a while back, though. Didn't you catch one or two of them before? Like you were trying to get on there, and for some reason you couldn't get on there. Not sure if that was you or what it was, but David Amaslin, forgive me if I'm mispronouncing that. He said, hi all from London. What's going on? Hope you're doing well in London. Rodney Evans says, from the Outer Planetary Alliance. Hi, y'all. What's going on there, Rodney? And Tweet on One says, hey, man. Hey, yep, hold on. Let me make this little. I always have this thing at the standard size. And we would try to make that a little bigger. About 4 times bigger. Because the monitor I have is right here, but the other one I have is kind of angled towards me. But it is a little further away. And so we want to make sure, we can see these pretty clear, John Jay says 5 minutes late, but nice to hear it, Elaine. You're talking to Elaine, of course. Good to see you in there, John Jay. 986 Otto, what's going on? It says, hello, everyone. Good to see you in there, Mr. Otto. MG Toe, what's going on? Good to see you in there. I agree. He said, next to Art Bell, George has done a great job. Absolutely. Couldn't agree more. And Valerian the Mac 3, what's going on? Going, had that kind of puzzled look on your face. Pat, you said, yeah, I love the ancient city structures in your last vid. Like I said, we're going to go over that because what I do, and I know some of you guys have asked me for this, and I've done this in the past, where I had taken I think it was it Staten Island? And then I took part of the Bronx and stuff like that. And what we did was we blurred it just slightly because we know these pictures are not crystal clear. Surprise, surprise. Coming from NASA and JPL. So what I do is I kind of blurred it and try to make it very similar to what I saw on one of the Martian satellite photos, right? And everybody was like blown away, like, oh my God, I can't believe that. Because what it is, when you start to, if something's blurry, right? And you'll see this when I show it to you, it's pretty cool. You can have like multiple pieces, like let's say 3 to 5 pieces, like you can see little squares. What happens when you blur them? Well, it becomes one piece. That's what people have to understand. So what I do is, that's why I cleared it up, the picture when I had done that enhancement. But like I said, I want to do a comparison with something here on Earth, and I think you guys would be a little surprised, but not so much. Anybody who's going, yeah, absolutely, then you're going to know right off the bat. But we'll definitely get into that too. Yeah, Valerian. -0? I know. I'm glad you caught that. Arts and Crafts is highlight of the week. Yes, indeed. Josh D said, I am sure about NASA. I follow their stream, and a few times after each other, they answer the question put on by you about their images. Oh, sweet. Didier Absumer? I'm not sure if I pronounced that correctly. Forgive me if I did not. Jerry Lahane, you said Basiago on Mars. Andrew Basiago, of course, interviewed every Sunday. Now Truth Quest by Aaron. Oh, okay. That's pretty interesting. I met Andy down at the Mars conference. Pretty cool dude. Yeah, pretty cool dude. Now we did have conversations where I was like, it's kind of. I wasn't sure if he was like 100%. But here's the thing: I'm not there, so I cannot say that, right? Whether he all of it was true. Your Highness, thank you very much for your support as always. Thank you very much. And we got the little laughing pear or whatever it is. I like that. Yeah, I seen that, MG Toe. You're talking about Security Team when you said put a good video out yesterday. Was that the Martian one? I think that was Mars, yeah. I did watch it. He is back. And it's good to see. Listen, like him, hate him, it doesn't really matter. Even if you just looked at it and said, listen, I don't really care about his personal business. It's like, it's entertainment. And a lot of times he's been trying to do the straight and narrow thing, even though he's messed up. We've already talked about this. Who cares? I mean, I don't know of anybody who's like been absolutely perfect through their life, right? I can't say I've done anything nearly as bad as he has as far as what was said about him. But, again, I'm looking at his videos. I'm not going to focus on people's personal life. Come on. I don't care. It has nothing to do with mine. It has nothing to do with anybody else's life or personal life. Where people PO'd because of what he did as far as video-wise, some of them were kind of faked, and he did with the digital voice crap and all that, and then they had whatever happened in his personal, whatever it was. Would I have approved of it? No, definitely not. And if I ever was in person and seen him do something like that to somebody else, especially a woman, there's no way I'd tolerate that. I'd get broken up in a hurry. But, the thing is, though, to me, it's just like, listen, we all make mistakes. Nobody's perfect here, right? We just try to do our best. Josh D said, and let me see, Adam the Martian, what's going on? Already is an actress. Huh. Okay. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. What's going on? Good to see you in here. Yes. Everybody's saying Tyler is back. Sombre Reptile, what's happening? Good to see you in there as well. Yeah, I think you're right, Master Catnip. I think NASA will be convinced once they locate a disco ball on Mars. You're probably right, too. No, they'll need one to slap them right in the face. That's the only way they're going to go, oh, wait a minute, there is something here. Or an alien to run up and start beating the helicopter with a club or something. That wouldn't be good. That was something to get their attention. What do you think about that? Oh, yeah. Definitely get their attention. And so, okay, when we do finally go up there with the astronauts, somebody go up there with a dustpan and get the helicopter, please. Yeah, that won't be good. Hey, Chris, sorry for being late. What is your opinion on the pyramid UFOs videos which were recently shown? Thank you. Oh, you're talking about the triangular ones. Yeah, I mean, I've got... if you're talking about the one from Pentagon, right? Because I think we talked about this. You guys had asked me about that last time we were live. And to me, listen, it's funny how every time the Pentagon puts something out, have you ever noticed it's either A, infrared, night vision. When are they ever going to take one that's pure daylight? Think about that a minute. Because the way I look at it is this. And people have said this about amateur videos, right? Why does everything seem to be obscured? It seems to be crap. It seems to be not clear. And those are no different. It's either, like I said, infrared, or it's night vision. It's never during the day where they can get a crystal clear. Now, don't get me wrong. I understand they had like I said, the infrared where they were trying to track it. Don't these things have regular cameras as well? Of course they do. So what's going on? I'll believe all that when I see it, because think about it. Amateur people and people who do this amateurly can do, they can make a video with a UFO in it, right? So my question would be, why couldn't they do the same? Remember, like Dr. Stephen Greer. I was just watching one of his videos the other day, and he's talking about this fake invasion. Well, my question to you guys is, isn't it already happening? Think about it. We got this UFO thing going on. Pentagon saying, yeah, they're not ours. They're somebody else's. They confirm that. This, that, and the other. We want to go into and check on it. We want to check this stuff out. So isn't it already happened? Except they're not making a real big deal out of it. And the way he made it sound was that it's actually a false flag, and that he's going to actually put out a video. I don't know if any of you other people have seen this, but it's going to be for everybody to share, and I'm going to put it on this channel because it's not going to be copyrighted or anything like that. It's going to actually be on, so you can grab the video and watch it yourself. And he said anybody on YouTube can grab it and go ahead and post it. So we will do that once we can get a hold of it. So I'll put it on here as well. But what he wants to do is have everybody share it, because they don't want you. He doesn't want you to fall for it. That it may be real. It's not. It's to me, I look at it this way. I think it's already been going on, because, like I said, the Pentagon's saying it's not ours. They're confirming that it's for otherworldly, apparently. So if that's true, then and we're going to investigate it. Isn't it already happening? Although it's not a big scare, but isn't it already happening? Just my opinion. What do you guys think about that? I'm sure you guys have seen this as well, right? Aliens are probably watching this channel and grinning. Yeah, they're probably going, interesting. Charlene, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. Much love to you. You said, thanks for being you. Yeah, there's me with the mirror. Damn. I appreciate it. Oh, that's too cool. Haven't seen that one yet. The Awoken one says, what up, Chris? What's up, chat? And what up to all the moderates reading this comment? Oh, we don't have no moderators here. We don't do that. We handle that ourselves. Any insubordinates, you know what I mean? But, and you'll get them periodically. You know that. But to me, it's funny how, like, a lot of these channels, they need, like, 47 moderators. For what reason? I mean, you're going to get that in regardless. Again, I've said this a million times. You're going to get the negative comments. You're going to get whatever. It comes with the territory. You guys know that. Like I said, I've seen awesome videos where, like I said, military coming home, seeing their newborn child for the first time, or, their kids have... they surprise their kids in, like, their school, and they come see them and everything else. And, it's kind of like, tear-jerking, feeling good kind of video, and thumbs down. For what reason? How are people so darn hateful they can't even appreciate that kind of situation, right? I don't know. But, it is what it is, right? But good to see you in there, the Awoken one. Oops. I hate it when this thing jumps on me here. John Pollard, what's going on? You said, hi, Chris and guys. Hope everyone is well. I am well. I hope you're doing well, John. Turklerin, what's going on? You're talking to Jaws. I think he said you didn't see a moving images, but you saw multiple images put together. Now, I think you're talking about the Ingenuity, right? There is an actual video of it. It's not. I know which ones you're talking about. There's one, and I saw it on Twitter. And I don't know if it's the same one you saw, but it was like you see the copter on the ground, all of a sudden it's already in the air, and it hovers, and it's back on the ground. That's not the one I've got. The one I've got is actually, and it lifts off, and it hovers, and it comes back down. But I saw, like, very tiny inconsistencies, and like I said, we'll talk about that first, and then we're going to go into the actual the video I had just done. as far as the picture and stuff. So, yeah. Jay McGuffey, you said if we look at how much gold has left the Earth in the last 10 years, it's staggering. True. I wonder if the countries are just hoarding it away, though, because precious metals are what's really going to stand out. Money, any kind of paper and coins at some point are not going to be worth a darn. It's the precious metals are going to be worth everything, and that's what we try to do, Every country tries to get all that, precious metals and stuff and save it, because at the end of the day, that's what's worth something. Charlene says, I love all the videos. Awesome at Chris. I appreciate that, Charlene. And I do appreciate your support. Love everybody's support. You guys are awesome. Absolutely awesome. Kyle Harvey, what's going on? Good to see you there. He said, what's up, guys? Let me see. In fact, thank you, Kyle. Appreciate your support, man. You are the bomb. So try again. Bang! That's awesome. And same thing to you there, Mr. 786 Auto. Thank you very much for your support. You gentlemen are awesome, and ladies are awesome. I do appreciate yous. Ron Hammer says, hey. What's going on, Ron Hammer? Oh, William Kennedy, you said, I read, what do you call it, Chariots of the Gods, I think you meant to put. Back when I was 15 years old, I'd be about, I guess it was 1969, Never Look Back. Yeah, great book. I've got it myself. Good book. And although some people say, I think he didn't translate them well, he's not the first one to translate them. Trust me, he's not. In fact, I was talking to my buddy Billy Carson, and we were talking about that, and he says, and in fact, I think he made a video about it, or he was on a live show at one point. It might have been on Coast to Coast. And he was talking and saying, and he's right. He said he wasn't the first one to rip these writings apart, right? And he said, so a lot of people want to dog him, but it's not about him. There was people that decipher these things prior to him, right? So you can dog him if you like, but yeah. Eric Von Daniken did a really good job of it, and as far as I'm concerned, I believe him. Now, is there anything could probably be wrong in his deciphering? Sure. I mean, nothing's going to be 100%, right? That's all you can do. What's going on, Stig? Good to see you in there. Yeah, Stig, you said some people just love trying to put down other people's good times. Very sad. Yeah, I mean, it's almost like they just go, you know what? Like these 2 thumbs down. Thank you very much for being here. Do appreciate you. You'll get that, and it's, like I said, I don't know. Maybe they just said, I just, whatever, whether it's I just don't like your channel, thumbs down. Go for it. Not going to hurt me. But then, like I said, I don't even care if they do it to me. I could care less. But what's really sad is, like I said, you can go after Rick a real feel-good video, like I said, about the military coming home and seeing their maybe newborn they didn't see prior, like the husband comes home, whatever, and first time sees them and everything else, or something heartfelt, thumbs down. It's like, come on, what does society come to? That you can't even appreciate something as cool as that. I don't know. It is sad. It really is. Otto says, happy spring to everyone. I don't know, Otto. I'm looking at this. I'm saying, okay, the last few mornings it's been like 28 to 30 degrees here. I'm thinking, okay, I understand it's this time of year where, we're going to this transition from, winter to spring. I get all that. But it's like you get totally teased in the beginning. It's like 80s up to 90 degrees. And all of a sudden, way down. It was like 50-something degrees yesterday. Woke up, I think it was 30 out. So I'm going to go out and scrape the windows today, because I actually didn't think it was going to be like, frost out there. But today I just went out there, just started up, just let it defrost, and it was fine. I didn't care after that. But, yeah, so, I mean, it's supposed to be getting warmer this week, though. It's supposed to be, I think it's 66 Monday, 70 Tuesday, close to 80 on Wednesday. So, yeah, we're looking forward to the warmer temps, that's for sure. Master Ken says, Majestic 12 froze Chris. Yeah, I hate it when that happens. Let's see. Riri Montgomery said, hi, what's going on? Good to see you in there. Juxtabilly says, yeah, people will be like, if I can't be happy, then no one can. You're absolutely right. And some of them are just spiteful. I mean, just, if it makes you feel good at the end of the day, go for it. I mean, that's the way I look at it, right? It's like, if it really makes you feel like a man, do it up. Again, it's not going to hurt me. I mean, John Shop, he said, Snowflake Generation are the thumbs down. Nah, I have a feeling I know who it is. And it doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. Because like I said, at the end of the day, we still roll on. We still have a great time. Let them do what they got to do. It's the way I look at it. Phone rig. Let me see. Okay. Jay McGuffey said, bastard COVID cost me a brand new 20-plate spray, plant spray foam rig. That's not good. That's not good at all. Yeah, Ricardo, you're right about that. Sounds about right. You said 4 seasons in one day. We get loads of those in Scotland. They used to say that as like a joke, and I'm sure you've heard it before. Like, because I was born and raised in Rhode Island, and they say, you don't like the weather, just wait a minute. Because it would just change on you, like just like that. So yeah. Robert Morgan says, Chris, I'm on time. Sweet, good to see you there, Robert. '76 Auto says, was freezing in New York for the past 2 nights, but warmer days are coming. Absolutely. And it's kind of like, my buddy he went from Rhode Island, moved up to Maine, bought himself a nice piece of property, got a sweet deal on it. I don't know why he did. I mean, the guy's, he's worked for the city all his life, and he's got bursitis, arthritis, and got all kinds of crap. I said, why would you move to a colder state? Man, you got to check yourself, man. He said, well, here's the thing, man. He said, I don't really care. He says, I bought it to invest in the property. He said, I can just turn around and dump it if I need to. Plus, he's in a quiet area where he likes it a lot, and he doesn't care. So it's good to get away from the hustle and bustle and be somewhere where it's a lot more remote. And if I had the money, I would do the same. Although I'm in a quiet area. I mean, it's really nice. I mean, I'll get traffic going by and stuff like that, but I don't care. I'm used to that type of thing. Doesn't mean anything to me. But yeah, I mean, he goes, like every time we'd have a weather event here, I'd say, yeah, get ready, got some storms coming, because within, one day they're getting hammered with it or whatever. At least 95% of the time, right? So, yeah. Robert Morgan, thank you very much for your support. I like that message, too. If you got hit by taxes, there's so much more in your video. I appreciate that. I like that. Dean Sattler, what's going on? He said, anomaly hunting, best hobby ever. Yeah, it is, isn't it? It's like I said, I kind of say, like, it's like Cracker Jacks, right? You look into the photo and you never know what you're going to find, like that box, you open it up. Remember that back in the day, you had the little tattoos and you had all these little weird things you can get out of it. Really, really cool stuff. Back then, you thought, oh, wow, it's the bomb. You look at it now, how cheesy. But it's made for little kids, and that's where we were. So it was kind of cool. Equalizer's in the house. What's happening, Equalizer? Good to see you there. What do you mean they shut you down, Photography Light and Magic? He said, Chris, they shut my Mars the Second Genesis channel. Why? Why would they do that? It's not like you do anything wrong there. Karen Montgomery says, Irish whiskey, better mate. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. That's for sure. Got to be careful, though. It does creep up on you quite quick. I hear a bird out there chirping his brains out. Josh D says, he's pointing the finger at you guys now, you ladies and gents. It says, 30 of you need to hit the frickin' like button. I'll go anal probing again later. Oh, not the anal probe. Let's not have none of that now. That's not good. John Schaub, he said, Chris, where's the V8 truck sounds? Oh, you get those. You have the guys come down in their hogs and everything else, just cruising by and stuff like that. You'll get that, which is cool. I don't have a problem with that. A lot of my friends own Harleys and everything else. But yeah, you'll get that every now and then. There's one guy that lives in the neighborhood. He's got a nice truck. It's a full-size Chevy. And but I swear to God, he's got glass packs on this thing. Good Lord. And I know he lives in the other part of the neighborhood over there. I'm saying, thank God I'm not his neighbor, because I don't know if I'd be too happy with that. It's like, dude, can you like put some exhaust on that thing? You know, making it loud doesn't give it 50 more horsepower. It really doesn't. In fact, it's obnoxious. I used to put thrush mufflers on mine, on a car that needed it. In other words, like, anything that was built, or just mild. It didn't need to be something serious. Just something that was, like a mild build. Like you can drop an Econo cam in like a 350, small block or short block, and, small block. And, you get a little bit extra breathage out of it. You might want to put like a small thrush on there. And it had a nice rumble. It sounded good. Nice dual exhaust. And these people got it's so darn loud that it's like, whoa, man, how in the heck? I'm not too good with that. I'm not liking that. Just a little too obnoxious. Maybe what? I like that. Somebody mentioned that, Dan Hazard. You said, did you see that UFO that flew between the Dragon capsule and the second stage separation? Somebody mentioned something about that. I didn't see that personally. I did not see that. I'll have to check that out. Anybody else see that? Let me move this over slightly. Because when I turn my head, it's like, you'll get out of the audio here. Don't want to do that. Oops. I hate it when it does this. Claire Mead's in there. I don't know if I said hello to you. But if I did not, hello. Dale Rogers, like I said, is in there. Maybe we have a woodpecker in the neighborhood. We don't need an alarm anymore. An alarm clock. I know, it's crazy, right? Because I can hear them things, too. They're like going to town. It's like, and you can always tell the different trees that they're on. Some are more hollow and some are more solid. And you can just tell the difference in them. Pretty funny. John Chop says, I've got straight through, son, my Ford F-250. What's it got? Yeah, what do you got in there? 351, 302? It depends on, because like I said, some of these guys, on a stock engine, it doesn't sound too bad. You know what I mean? It'll be quite loud. It'll have some, being a little obnoxious, but some of these people build these things up, and I'm going, wow, why would you do that? Because here's the thing, on a stock vehicle, you could burn up valves, depending on how much back pressure you got on it and whatever else. But to me, I've always had more than enough. I mean, I had a supercharged Pontiac Bonneville, beefed up and everything else, and it would run. And I put thrush on it. Never had anything really obnoxious, and never had any problem with performance. It just ran. High performance cat on it. It ran good, So, I never had any issues with that. Nobody hated me, wanted to come out and club me over the head or anything. So, but, like I said, some people choose to go with that. Some will leave the resonators on it, if that's what it came with it. And then they'll have the cherries on there, and it doesn't sound bad. It actually has a nice rumble to it still, right? Oops. Let's see. Karen Montgomery said, Chris, the last video you done confirms it for me. Any more like this, man? Well, like I said, I've seen this. I've done this video before, and I did more on the blue, which, by the way, there may be a second part to this, so you guys might want to check that out, because remember we were talking about the blue area? Yeah. And somebody had already stated earlier in this comment section about how, you may want to check out some other parts of the photo too, and they're absolutely right about that as well. So yeah, stay tuned for that. Let's see. Pat Owen says, I'm getting a 289 engine built for my 66 Ford Galaxy. Yeah, as long as you build it, because the 289s were kind of, a little anemic, if you know what I mean. I mean, they were good for what they are, because 289s are good engines, right? Used them in the Mustangs and everything else. But a Mustang weighed what? 3,200 pounds? 3,000 pounds? Galaxy's a little heavier. Good cars. Nice car, though. I like the Galaxies. Jerry Lehane says, I had a phone call 5 minutes. Okay. Let's see. John Schaub said 455. Now we're talking. Yep, there you go. 428. Oh, yeah. Yeah, they are, Jay. He said engines are therapeutic, especially that nice rumble and the, depending on the engine itself. You got a big block 400 Pontiac or the 454 Chevy like my brother has in his Monte Carlo. Of course, it's got a beef. It's not on a bottle or anything. It's just pure raw horsepower. 500 horsepower to the wheels, the rear wheels. Just about 500. No, it's 500 foot-pounds of torque, just shy of 500 on the horses. So really good, well put together car. He was racing it down in Myrtle Beach, the drag strip down there next to the base. So, yeah. But, yeah, they have a nice rumble to them. Sit there and listen to that all day long. Dean Sadler says, I got me a sand rail. There ain't nothing wrong with those either. I'd like to get something like a dune buggy or something along them lines. Those would be pretty sweet. And Habit Moss says, hey, everyone, how are you doing? Just got home from work and moving into our new house. Awesome, man. Good to hear that. I will be listening, but moving stuff at the same time. Nothing wrong with that, man. Glad to have you in there. Let me see. I hate when this thing jumps like this. Let me see. Pat Owen, you said electric Tesla may be faster, the internal combustion engine cars, but they don't have the sound or the soul. I got to agree. Now, don't get me wrong. I've got an electric car, and I've got, an eco car. I call them the Eco Box. But I've had the Camaros. I had all that good stuff. In fact, I had a newer Camaro. A buddy of mine had a 69 Camaro. I helped him. They had just built it, but for some reason, they still using a points distributor, which I thought was insane. Because even if you use the Excel points, which have got a tighter spring on them, because you crank up the RPMs, what happens to the spark? It just scatters everything. You got spark scatter underneath the distributor cap. So me personally, I was like, no, dude, you need HEI in this thing. So we did that, and that thing was, it would run. And it was only a mild build, 350 and a 69 Camaro, which, they don't weigh a whole lot. So it performed quite well. But, like I said, I'm a techie too, so it doesn't matter. I'd love to have one of those. It's just funny because if you're a car person in general, right, you like anything fast or just luxurious. It could be just that. And just the look of a car, just the sound of a car is just awesome. So, but, when you see something like that perform and it's electric, you just go, wow, that's insane. And I love the cool people who have these hot rods, and I've seen that. If you go on the Tesla Racing channel, it's a Southern boy that has that, and he races a lot of cars. You should see the people that get butt hurt. But there are many people who are true hot rodders and just love everything about cars and racing. And he would take them for a ride in it. There was one guy with a fastback Mustang, and he just took him for a ride. He said, I'll tell you what, because he beat him in the race so badly, just waxed him, not even trying. And the guy's like, I can't understand it, So he says, I'll tell you what, let me take you and your son for a ride. And he says, all right, you guys ready? And hit it. He says, my God. He says, my buddy's got a alcohol dragster, and it doesn't pull like this. So he could appreciate it, even though his preference is probably combustion, of course, and that's what he built. But when you get something that's simplistic and pull like that, it's just like, it just blows you away how it's The technology is rolling along, literally. Alien hunting a dragon. You say, oh, Chris, I remember setting points in the rain under a street light on Delaware Avenue. Yeah, that could be a lot of fun, couldn't it? Even though you get your feeler gauge, I just used to use a matchbook cover. You guys ever do that? A buddy of mine, he was like, we call these other cousins. We knew each other since we were kids. And he had a Datsun pickup, and it was funny because he was like, man, I got the feeler gauges done. I can't get it to run. I'll go over there with a matchbook cover, just set the things, put the cap back on, fires right up. He's like, what the? I said, dude, I learned this off my grandfather a long time ago, and I said I've always used them. I don't know what it is. Now, of course, on the Chevys, and I know a lot of the other cars can do this, had the little window on the distributor, and you can use an insulated Allen, and while it's running, you can actually set it and get it right and all that. It was pretty cool. I mean, you can set them, of course, first, and then sometimes these things would go out of whack on. You can adjust them on the fly, so to speak. It wouldn't be dead on, of course, because you're not going to be that good, but yeah, that'll be pretty cool. It is, like I said, I can appreciate anything that's high performance, to be honest with you. It's a new era, guys. John Sharp says electric Hummer on Mars. Could very well be. Guys, what do you want to bet? The next thing that's going is from like Spot the robot dog. How much you want to bet? If you look at the way that thing is designed, I don't know if you guys have seen it from, what was that name of the company? Boston... I don't know if it's robotics or what it is, but the thing literally gets down like this here and just tucks its legs, so it's like this and then just stands straight up. They can literally put that under the underbelly. It drops it down. Of course, it do the same thing it did with the Ingenuity helicopter, back off. This thing can just get up and just start roving around, and they can put a nuclear power plant in it, and it can just do its thing. I mean, how much you want to bet that's next? I'll be surprised if they don't do it before humans get there. You're right about that. The drag. You're right. He said, burn your arms on the Chevy front. The Ford was in the front. Absolutely. Which a lot of people liked. I didn't have any problem with it as long as you're working on something very large. Like I had a Chevy Impala. I had Oldsmobile Cutlass with 350 rocket. I had all of it. And it didn't seem to bother me too much. I didn't really care too much. There's plenty of room to get in there. Now, if you're literally trying to, if you're a contortionist trying to get into a small spot. And remember those old Boss Mustangs? They're like the 76, 78s. The little, Mustang 2s, remember those? And had the 302s, and that was a tight fit now. Almost needed grease and a shoehorn to get that in there. Yeah. Josh D says, Boston Robotics, yes, sort of allied to MIT. Oh, yeah, absolutely. Let me see. Robert Morgan, you said, had a Ford Gran Torino with a 351 Cleveland and 660 double pumper carburetor. Yeah, that was pretty sweet. Sweet. No, I was going to say my buddy had the same thing. He didn't. He had the modified, 351 modified. Really, really nice car. I mean, really big tank, though, isn't it? I mean, talk about a land barge, but I'd take one any day, man. Any day. John Sharp, yeah, like I said, you said the question was, Chris, hey, Chris, why not send up Honda robots to Mars? Well, again, they're going to start doing this. You mark my words. I'll be very surprised. And if they don't do it to Mars before people get there, you can almost bet they'll send it to another planet. Think about it. What's going to happen to it? Unless it's completely moist out all the time and you get like this weird rain going on and stuff like that, and somehow it can, make this thing malfunction in no time. But to me, it just makes more sense because it can climb up mountains, it can do all kinds of things. The helicopter's cool, and, we've seen it take flight. Of course, I'm a little dubious about that, but that's beside the point. The thing about it is, yes, it can fly around, which is cool because you want to see at the tops and maybe take a real good pan, maybe, or just take a nice whatever. Very large photos, put it together. It's like an aerial view panorama. But when you can go up and climb all over things and walk up and down better than the actual rover, I think those things would be cool. I think that's going to be next. I know they said there was a couple of them wanting to do. They're trying to find somebody to contract to do something similar to that. So there's a lot of them, biting at the bit trying to get that, Alien hunting dragon, 289 in a Pinto. That's pretty much wedged it in there. But even then, I think they still had a little room. The 289s weren't very big. John Schaub, yep, the Cadillacs, 1972, 8.2 with a 500 engine. Those things were pretty sweet. Oh, this freaking jumped on me. Yeah, exactly, Josh. You said they tested robots on the ISS, so logical if they send them to Mars. Jay McGuffey said it would be too much of a security threat for anti-grav tech to be released, and they ain't done milking oil and electric yet. I mean, at some point, it's going to come out. It's just they're just gonna go buck wild on this thing. They're gonna be like, this is what we're doing now. This is what we're doing now. It's gonna be like neck breaking speed at some point. They're just gonna start sending all kinds of tech to these other planets. Like I said, they want to send other, what is it like the other? What do they call that one? Darn it. It's basically like another, what do you call it? I'm trying to think of two things at the same time. But they want to send one. It's like another drone. It's got the 4 propellers, right? They're trying to send these to like planets and different moons. Like I said, think about it. If you can't send man, send the next best sophisticated thing you can that will do the job you need to do. So, one of them, they want to send one. It'll actually drill through the ice, and then it'll go inside the ocean, and of course, we'll swim around the ocean and check things out. That would be pretty interesting. So, yeah. Robert Miller, there you go. That'll fly a little bit, won't it? Had a 73 Datsun 260 with a Corvette engine. Man, that must have been a sweet ride, man. My brother-in-law back in the day had a Triumph. He used to call it the Tramp. I think it was a TR6. And what he did was he put a 350, a mile 350 in it. And, wow. He had to idle down so low, you still put it in and drive, and the wheels would just turn a little bit. And it was just funny to race people in Mustangs and Corvettes and everything down the quarter mile. It's just hilarious. Because they're not expecting that, right? They see dual exhaust, they see 3-inch pipes coming out of the rear end. They're going, yeah, whatever, dude. Just because it's got a rumble doesn't mean you got something under the hood. He had to run 2 radiators in this thing just to keep it cool. It was insane. And of course, this goes back to the 80s. This isn't now where you got a lot more. They did. I guess they had some good-sized core radiators, but the way he had it set up, it just wasn't getting cold enough. So he had 2 of them. He had one like it was almost straight up, and the other one was slanted down. And it ran good. It's a nice toy. Wish I could have bought it off him at the time. No, nothing wrong with that. What's going on last week? You said coffee, sandwich, live hangout. Check. Got it all. Oh, yeah. Let me see. I think... Trying to see this thing jump to me here a little bit. Yeah, now I know what you were talking about. Somebody had said, "Oh, Robert Morgan, ooch." Yeah, that sucks. It's amazing when you have something. I don't care what it is. I don't care if it's old. Like here's a perfect example. Back in the 80s, I liked, I'm an audio nut, so like a audiophile. I like anything like good quality audio. I had boom boxes back in the day. I still got one here, a JVC boom box. I could sell it now, and the way it is, issues with the cassette player, but that was like that when I got it. But it's nothing to get $350 for this thing, not even trying. And I've seen some of them things lately. It's absolutely insane. But what I was getting at is it's amazing how what you thought was, not a big deal, I can go ahead and get rid of that, maybe get another one. One, you couldn't get another one. And two, they're worth so much money now, you just want to literally kick yourself in the rear end, right? Yeah, that sucks. That's sad. Jay McGovern, or a Pacer. Shit, my aunt had one of those, a Pacer. What did they have, the little 256 on those? What the heck did it have? It had the straight six. Called it the fishbowl on wheels. Upside down fishbowl. It ran good. Ugly as sin, but ran good. But I guess, hey, beats the heck out of walking, right? But the doors on them things weighed as much as my small car now. Those hinges started going bad, forget about it. The Awoken One says, I got to run off chat, as all the reading is making my vision go blurred, LOL. I'll keep listening until the end of the stream, and thank you for the video stream, Chris. Peace out. Y'all respect. Appreciate it, Awoken One. Glad you're still with us, or will be listening in. We're going to start jumping on this video, because I think you guys want to see this. There's a couple things I noticed when I checked this out, guys. I don't know if you guys did either. Maybe it was just me, because at the time I saw the other video that somebody had zoomed in. Let me see. When I saw this, what I had a problem with was two things. The cool thing is somebody had like zoomed it in, like they had like maybe right here in the center of the video, and they zoomed into it, and it seemed like it was more prominent, but it's not here now. When you see this thing take off, two things I noticed. First of all, it doesn't have any problem lifting off the surface. Have you guys noticed that? And you know it's censored, so when it starts to take off, obviously it's spinning upward. Meaning it's spinning up the RPMs until it finally lifts. Doesn't seem to be staggering, meaning trying to get off the ground. It just... And as soon as it goes off the ground, it hovers. That tells me it's not at maximum RPM. It's not struggling. So what is the atmosphere really on Mars? Now, don't get me wrong. People will say, well, keep in mind it was built to actually lift. And I get that. I understand how they got the lift on the rotors and everything. I get that. But this thing had no problems whatsoever. It took right off. And, of course, it hovered and then come back down. The other thing I noticed, and I'm going to run this video here, is that when you see it take off, notice the statue, I'll be all right, the shadow, rather, but the statue's in the back. No. But you'll see it, when something lifts off the ground, okay, you should see the shadow get a little bit bigger, and it's not defined. Now, as it's hovering and it comes back down, it doesn't seem to get better, nor does it seem to get sharper. And you guys will see what I'm talking about. Yes, Josh, he said it went up like a bee on Earth atmosphere, LOL. I think it's got more than they're saying anyway. Okay, watch this. I'm going to do this. And like I said, pay attention. This is what I noticed too. Again, it's like the shadow, it like moves a little bit to the left and moves to the right. It looked like it lagged, like the shadow had like it was lagged behind the actual movement. Now it's so small that it's hard to see that. When the other person did the zoom in and had the video going, you could see this pretty well. This, not so much, but let's have a look. Get that out of the way. Let me get my face out of the way here, too. Okay, we have blades going. Now watch it. It does not hesitate to get off the ground. No problem whatsoever. Notice the shadow, it's gotten bigger and it's not defined, of course, because it's no longer close to the ground. When it comes down, that shadow does not change. And if it does, it's so small, it's not even funny. See, it seemed like the helicopter moves a little bit, and then that thing is like and I'm talking a millisecond behind. You really don't see it get sharper. The shadow doesn't really change much. What's up with that? Am I seeing that differently than you guys, or what? Exactly, too. Good observation. Ricardo, you said, I noticed when it lifted off, there was no sign of soil, dust, surface disturbance from the downdraft. And this thing's supposed to be spinning at what? At least a maximum. I think of like 2,800 RPMs, maybe 3,000. So this thing has more than enough lift because it had enough to get off, and then it had to, of course, it's got to cut back the RPMs in order to hover, right? Because if they kept that thing at the same speed, I think it just would have took off. It just would have just kept going. So it has more than enough lift than what it showed in their own test cell, where it showed it. Remember the first time you seen it in a test cell? It was like boing, 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 just kind of bouncing around, and it could not take off. Well, then they had it going where zzz, and it literally got off the ground. It was fine. Now they say they're supposed to simulate it to be like like Mars atmosphere, and I get that. But this thing, it looked like it was too easy. Like this thing had no problem doing this, right? But good observation, and I'm glad you've seen that. I'm going to play it again. Again, like Ricardo says, you'll see no dust whatsoever being kicked up. And guys, this back of this photo, which we'll be looking at too, is a bunch of crap. Right here in the midsection, not in the back. I know Joe from our Alien TV had just done I think he just done a video on the back of this, which is pretty interesting the way he did that. But we're going to be actually looking at more in the right here. There might be a video on that. Listen, you can't tell me just looking at this right here, this midsection, that's normal. That's absolute crap. It makes you wonder if it is being hidden. Did they go through all part of that video and then release it to the public? I mean, they did stall a little bit, did they not? I'm not saying they did. It's just pure speculation, but it's just weird how, we got it together now. We're going to show you a video. They were supposed to show it also with sound. Remember, because they said they were going to have the Perseverance record it, both sound and that. And there is no sound to this. Yeah, Andrew, yep. It's good to see you there, man. You said there is oxygen on Mars enough to breathe, yet they're trying to produce it, which they have, in fact. I did see that. Somebody said, they just produced it. I mean, they're taking the carbon out of the air, which they said is more than ample amount of it, and changing it into oxygen. Well, okay. And, of course, they're going to use that for fuel and stuff like that. And, of course, they can use it to fill tanks, I guess, if they're going to be up there. And I don't think they need oxygen, to be honest with you. I think it's fine. It's just, I think they say it's kind of similar to, like, being on Earth only thousands of feet up. And that would make perfect sense to me. I don't know. Like I said, it just seems like they're saying this stuff to, like, it's like, we're going to put in this movie for you guys. Just keep watching it while we're doing things behind the scenes here. Just, don't worry. You know what I mean? Kind of thing. I don't know. I just don't get it. It's like I don't know. I wouldn't say it's a hoax. I don't think it's that. I think it's a diversion. I think it's, when I seen this thing fly, and I've already told you guys how I feel, this thing's already flown. It's a bunch of crap. It's already flown. And that's only my opinion, not everybody else's. I'm not speaking for everybody else, but the way I saw the dust on that thing's flown before. If you've seen it the first time, they did show it where it literally, the blades went, the rotors went round and round for like, and then it just kind of stopped. So in other words, it just kind of spun up a little bit and then stopped. I don't think it would have accumulated that kind of dust, and which, hold on. Let me see. This thing just jumped on me, guys. Sorry about that. Anyway, like Ricardo was saying, first of all, there's dust on the rotors. Therefore, it must be a lot of loose dust on Mars. Yet when this thing lifts off, what do you see? Absolutely none of it. And if it's so fine, it's really fine because you can't see it at all. You should see a plume of that come off the ground, especially how it's supposed to be next to this little dune right here, right next to this line. Yeah, you should see a whole bunch of that flying around, guys. And even if it was a very low, resolution video, which it is, it's kind of crap, but I don't see any of that. So where's this dust coming from? Yeah. So it's kind of a contradiction. You should see dust, but yet there's some on them rotors. So if it's that loose of dust around there, you should see this thing throwing this stuff all up. What do you guys think of that? And, of course, the shadow on the ground, watch when it goes to land. It doesn't change. It should get crisper and smaller to the shape of the actual helicopter. And it really doesn't change. Again, it is low, resolution, so that's a good possibility that I'm just seeing that wrong. And I don't have a problem with that. But I thought that was interesting. Jerry Lehane says, Wizard of Oz, shifty maneuvers, non-disclosure, but still progress. Oh, yeah, absolutely. What's going on there, Marcus Peters? Good to see you in there. He said, good morning, Chris. Good morning to you there, Marcus. Hope you're doing well. John Shea, he said on the left-hand side of the hill, the back hill, rather, looks like there's a structure ghosted out. Oh, yeah. Well, like I said, and Joe over at Alien TV does this here. But, yeah, you can see that right there, right, on that hill. Now, I think he covers a lot of this right here. And there's another part on the left-hand side that he covers as well. I'm looking right here, and I can see something, a nice fine line right here in the upper left underneath the JPL logo right there. See that line right there? There's something right inside this mountain right here. Right there. And you can see the shape of this thing. You guys see that? And it's like a middle piece, like an oval. You only see like the picture like an oval pill. And you only see in the right-hand side of it right here. And you can see the line above it coming down. Drops down like this, straight down, and goes underneath. Look at that. Again, I mean, you shouldn't see this kind of stuff on these Martian photos. You should not see that. Oh, yeah, Pat, you said fake sand dunes in the back. Psh, they're all over the front. They're all over next to this right here. You can see. I want to go ahead and get rid of this. Let me see here. You can see it right here. I want to just run this thing. But right here in the foreground, just underneath this white line, this timeline, check that out. Right there in the front, to the right. That's all fake. That's not real. I guarantee you, if you take this and actually take this and, screen save it or whatever, and then put it into Photoshop, you'll see it. I can put this in raw plate. You see this all right here in the middle section. It's all redacted. A lot of that crap in that mountain, it's all stuff being overlaid over these photos. No doubt in my mind. Claire Mead, you said completely smooth section at the back also. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's like, people will never see through this. Oh, no. They can't see this. They're all just little sheep. Oh, no, Pat. You said, they say I suffer from pareidolia. Yeah, it's interesting enough. I think it was NASA or JPL that come up with that word, wasn't it? I think it was. I find it really interesting. I think it's really comical. Now, don't get me wrong. There are people who do suffer from that. You'll see something and say, oh, it's a face. And it may or may not be, but sometimes if it's a 50-50 thing, I don't use even, basically go after it. In other words, because it could be either or. Now, if it's really, really like that statue we seen that somebody else had seen and had it on Facebook, and I showed you guys that actually does look like a statue. Now, if it's my pareidolia, so be it. But that looked like a statue to me, and I think everybody agreed on that. So that, to me, but if somebody going, I don't know, you're looking at you have to look at it a certain way, you got to look at it for 5 minutes to even see it. No, to me, I just go, I don't even entertain the thought that it's even like a face or a human or some kind of being or something like that, right? I just noticed in the back here on this, right here in this, right behind the copter, go back here into this hill right in the middle of the photo, and right here, I don't know if you guys can see my cursor. It's way in the back. You got the helicopter here in the center, on the bottom. Go straight up. And as soon as you hit this wannabe sand dune, you got these two rocks, right? And then just up left, so like 1 o'clock position from those, there's like a circle, a half circle, almost like the letter D facing towards the back mountain, a large D type thing right there. It's like half circular, and then there's a straight line of what looks like rocks or something right there. Pretty interesting, too. Christine Ingram, you said the new photos are worse than the old ones. Or they're at least equivalent. Didn't they say it was going to be better photos, much higher definition, so on and so forth? Where are they at? Where they at? I'm not seeing it. It still looks the same to me. Maybe threw a couple more tactics in there to try to convince people that it's nothing more than rocks there. But I'm not fooled by it. Let me go all the way down to the bottom right here. Charlene, you said you see it. That big, like I said, I don't know. You got this up here on the top hill, but then you have all of it down here. If you're on a decent sized screen, like I'm on a 27-inch high definition, so, and I recommend anybody, if you got a lot bigger tablet than your phone or a computer, a PC, something really good resolution, that's the way you want to view these videos, and in high definition, of course, and because that's the best way to see it, right? Let me see something here. They only got 720 out of these, but it's still crap. It's complete crap. You should be seeing 4K on these things, absolutely 4K, and you don't see that at all, right? Mine was set to auto, so it's still in 720 regardless, and like I said, that thing has no problem. It doesn't bounce along the ground trying to lift off. It just, and then of course it's got more than enough lift. It just hovers. It doesn't struggle to get to it. You don't see it and then drop back down. You don't see any of that. It's just, it's turning. It's doing its thing because of the opposing, rotors and stuff, and they can adjust one rotor at a time, its lift and stuff like that, so they can turn it and all that other good stuff. I mean, come on. Yeah, I thought that was pretty comical, if you ask me. And the other photo is too. I know you guys have seen this one here, where it's in the air, and you can see the wheel marks of the Perseverance right here. Is that real? That's a good possibility. I think it is. But yeah, let me see something. I want to see something here. Yeah, okay, same date. I want to see if they said anything about different date. I was hoping they messed up. But it's saying April 19th. That's when it was supposed to, remember it was supposed to take, it's supposed to be, trying to think here. It's supposed to be, no, it was 2 days prior to that. No, it was actually what, 2 or 3 days, guys? When they first tried to get it off the ground, of course it didn't. And they had to change it to Wednesday. So, but either way, I think it's a cool picture, but, I think they should have flown a lot higher. And what I found interesting was this little black area up at the top right. Did you guys see that? Let me see if I can zoom into the actual page itself. Right here. You guys see that right there? Not sure what that even is. Right there. What could that possibly be? I mean, it's not a lander there. And yet it looks like a leg, a black leg or something standing right there. You don't see, clearly it's not the rover because it'd be wheels on the ground. It would not be a leg. Are you guys seeing that as well? I don't know. To me, that just doesn't make sense. I noticed that. And I'm saying, what is that? John Shea said, what's actually taking the photo of the from above the copter? No, it's not above it. That's the actual shadow. It has a camera that looks down directly to the ground, so it's seeing its own shadow is what it's doing. So it's almost like a high noon type thing. I think what that leg is exactly what it is. It's a leg from the actual copter, but it looked like it's on the ground. You guys see that, the way that looks? So I'm wondering, because you don't see it over here. Let me see. Let me just back off. So you don't see it in this corner here, nor do you see it. Well, yep, you do. So there we go. There's the explanation for that. Okay. So I don't see the others, but you know what? These legs are kind of wide across, so that makes sense. But you can just barely see that one right there. Can you see that? But it still looks like it has like a round, almost like a flat ring as opposed to them. You remember how it had like a teardrop end to them? So I guess that looks like it's supposed to. You can see that right there. So that explains that, which is cool. I didn't even notice the bottom one, to be honest with you guys. So kind of cool. James Cragen, thank you very much for your support, sir. As always, you said, hi, Chris, and everyone tonight. Chris, great vids again. From you this week. And Chris, the last Mars vid, wow, top of the range work from you. Appreciate it, man. And I do appreciate your support, as always. We're going to get into that, too. And we're going to check that a little bit more. And like I said, I've got a comparison to something here on Earth. And somebody had asked me in there, they said, hey, Chris, let me ask you a question. If you could find something that has, like, something that repeats itself, in other words, you can see like almost like a brick wall type thing. So you'll know that it's probably artificial. These things are artificial. Well, I did actually find a couple things that were just like we see in this photo. let's jump into that. Now, this is the one, I'm not going to show you guys that right now. Okay, here it is right here, but I marked these out here. This is the raw one. And here's this one here. Okay, this is in color. Now, this is a city. I'm not going to tell you exactly what it is yet. But notice what we see here. In this photo, you can see this city, right? Okay. Tell me what you guys see here. It's not exactly the most clearest photo, and you can see that. Doesn't matter, but this is actually real. I didn't change this and alter this. This is a real photo right here. I did take some of it out. You can see the gray. And I'll explain it because I didn't want it to distract your eyes. But clearly we know this is here from Earth because you can see the roadways, right? And funny how this thing actually does this. It goes like this, and then all of a sudden it just goes off into gravel, I guess. But what looks like, streets. But notice here on the left-hand side, right here, look how these things are in a row. Okay? And somebody said, well, that to me proves that that would probably be, intelligently made. And I would agree with them. So let's get into that. What I saw, like I said, was these here. What do we have here? Right here in the center are what we're looking for, right? Look how they're in a row. Now, let me back out of that real quick. And then we have this other structure. I just circled any random structure. But you notice right there, this is really going to be our big arrow, right here, you can see the structure with something right on the top. A lot like what we see Jean Ward's work, where we see something, there's always something on top of these things. Now, is there anything in that photo other than what I just showed you that's similar to these? Absolutely. You can see right here, you've got right here, I'm going to zoom into this, right? And you've got this one here. Now, we can look at that right there. Has something coming off the roof. I'm not sure what that even is. And I'll explain to you why it looks a little weird in a second. But you can see something coming off this thing. It looks like it's like this and it's tall. And you can see the shadow of it right behind it, right? Okay. But you have these two objects here. I'm just going to back up just a little bit. Or not objects. Well, there's not two because there's multiple here in this bottom. But you see how they all run along. And again, we see this right here. All of this right here in this area. Okay? All right here. Well, look what we're seeing here. Same thing here. Same thing with the structure on the left, upper left. And guess what? We can see these things lined up all in here as well. Just like we see in this other photo. Same thing. And guess what? This area, here's the photo right here, was hit by a tsunami. This is Chennai, India, December 29th, 2004. And you can see where they're talking about it right here. I'm going to go ahead and rotate this so you guys will be back to normal. It says, showing it right here where it says boats on a pillar, where they showed, or it's on the pier rather, right there. You can see how they're all on top of the pier. That's not good. You can see how they're off the pier, like they're supposed to be. And then they're actually on top of the pier. So that's never a good thing. But I got rid of the water because I didn't want it to distract your eyes. However, this was hit with a tsunami. Imagine that. What are we seeing on here? We see the same thing. Very, very similar right here. So, and like I said, I had a couple of people say, pixelations. Listen, pixelations are one thing. We should see them all over here as well then. We should see it all in the back here. Should see all of the pixelations. We don't see any of that compared to what we're seeing here. And, I think one person argued the point and said, well, because you made it darker, it's making it more prominent. Okay, I'll go with that. Well, then you should see them here in the back as well. We don't see that either. It's right there. So, like I said, there's plenty in here that just, like I said, this alone, I mean, come on. Look at these things. Absolutely, when I went through this, more and more I got into this, I was blown away. Wow. Andrew, you said you don't see the roads. Just look at the alignment of the structures to infer a road exists. Oh, you don't need to see. I'm sorry. You don't need to see the roads. Exactly, because you can see. Here's the thing. Let's say they had flight instead of cars and stuff like that. I just seen something else today. I think you guys are going to like this when you see this in this photo. But the structures are separated. You know there's roadways. Here's a good example. Let me just make this thing a lot smaller. It's because of the way how big the photo is. The other one would be a thin line, and on this one it's a thicker line. But you can see it running right down here. This might go into something here, but here it goes. It continues on. It's all over the place, guys. You can see these things. Now, what if this was washed out by, like we're talking about, tsunami of some sort or whatever it may be? Very good possibility, right? But there is separation. Now, there doesn't say on there how far or how off the ground the satellite photo is. Check this stuff out right here, guys. I don't know if you guys see this. You guys see that it looks like a round wall type thing? Look at this. Kind of doing this here. Looks like it has something in the middle. Almost like a tower. You guys see that? Let me put it in raw right there. And I'll put it back into color. See that? Way too many things in here to believe these are pixelations. Absolutely not pixelations. And I even told him that. Listen, you'd see this all over the place, and you don't see that. Yeah, exactly, Jim Donahue. Good to see you in there, by the way. You said Mars at Fukushima. Yeah, exactly. He says, tsunami for sure. You can see the telltale, well, I think you meant to say tail, but sign to the direct of the wash. Yeah, I mean, and here's another thing that kind of boggled me, too. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is the actual one here. Oh, I cleared it up a little bit, so we can see this a little bit better. I don't like blurry if I can get it. I want more defined structures here, or at least anomalies. Doesn't matter if it's a structure, whatever it may be, right? But this one here is what blew my mind. And I'm going to show you something else that's kind of weird, too. It just kind of messes with your eyes. It's probably the depth is what's messing me up. But this is what I showed you guys here, where it has that shape to it. Going, not like that, but down a little further. I'm on the mouse pad, so I'm just doing this freehand. But like this, and then you can see the upper layer to this thing does this here. And what looks like a wall here has a dip in it, does this, goes back down. Look behind it. There's a space right here. And it looks like there's a shadow here and a shadow here. This one is larger. Why? Because if you look at this photo, this side, in fact, does look larger with the split here in the middle. Look at the difference in sizes. So, that's what tells me, and again, we have these on a row, that to me, without a doubt, tells me this is actually intelligently built. And again, we have the same thing going on in this photo right here. I mean, it's right there, guys. I mean, like I said, if we seen this photo here on Earth, and somebody had said this earlier, said there's no way nobody would have said, oh no, clearly they would have said, oh, so what part of Earth is this? They would have never guessed this. If you were to take this, put it in black and white, show it to somebody, and go, oh wow, where's that? Looks like it's been wiped out. And you didn't tell them where it's from, they'd think it was an actual city. Nobody would second guess this. If somebody brought it to you and said this is on Earth, nobody would second guessed it. But because you go, oh, it's Mars, that's a bunch of crap. Give me a break. This, that, and the other. You know darn well these people are like this. But yet here it is, and they, not all, but some people, that's a bunch of crap. It's your pareidolia, really? Or it's some kind of, like I said, compression artifacts, which you should see everywhere. I don't see any of that here. I'm not seeing any of it go to any spot. And let's be fair, guys. Let's be totally fair with this. Because that's lighter, maybe because in the darker areas it's more prominent. Okay, we'll go with that. We'll do that. All right, here we go. Let's go up to this area right here. I think this is the best area here as far as I'm concerned. Right here, we can zoom into this. That's lighter. And you can see like what looks like different structures here, because I went over that with the circle. Right there. We can put this back in color. And you can see the shapes of these things. Okay. Actually, you can see this actually doing this. What's the chances of that? You can see that. So, and that's in lighted area, and yet we can still see shapes and everything else. This is lighter over here. I don't see any of that here. I don't see any of that right there. None of it. Where are we seeing it? I don't see it. Yeah. Like I said, I've been working with photos long enough to know what a compression artifact is, or a pixelation. And clearly that's not a pixelation, because here's the thing. Let's do this. Well, it's going to be a lot smaller. No, let's do this. Here's the photo here, the original. Now, if we turn it back the proper way, this is the way it really comes, okay? And I can see these without really doing anything to the photo. You can see them all in here. I'll put them right in the middle. And the one right here, up in this area here, you can see those. Now, let's back out. Okay, I can still see them. Still see them. Still see them. Still see them. That tells me that these are not compression artifacts. You have to zoom in to see these compression artifacts. Unless the thing is so bad, I mean, so, oh wow, the resolution had to be absolutely awful to start seeing compression artifacts zoom this much out. And I can still see those squares from here. Of course, I am in a large screen, don't get me wrong. But it's still, you should be able to like be this far in, like right here, and still see these compression, and I still don't see them. I can see line striations, and that's probably from the overlay or whatever they put over this, but there's the squares. I don't see that here inside over in the left-hand side. You'll see them here. Why? Because there's more to this than what's here. And that's going to be your second part, by the way. And you'll see much more in here. So like I said, when I see things like these objects or these structures, well, I went over the thing. Like I didn't want to do that. Right here. And all of these different, this is that large structure, what looks like the wall standing up right here. And, of course, the base to this structure or whatever. Come on. You know, this to me is just like the smoking gun. It's probably the best one I've seen yet. Now, the other one with the roads and everything was pretty interesting as well. And I believe that's real. And you could look at either one of these and go, yeah, it makes perfect sense to me. There's no doubt there were structures there. That was funny, Pat. My pareidolia must be acting up again. Oh, that was good. Oh, Julia, you're too kind. Thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate it. You said this video is one of your best pieces of work ever. P.S. The Mars copter? Fake, fake, fake. Have a great show. I do appreciate it. Much love to you, Julia. Yeah, I mean, no doubt. I mean, I don't... It's like I said, I believe the copter, like you're saying, is not the real deal. And, you know, I'm sure this video could actually be made like that. In other words, the way they made that for people to see, the public to see. Because when I see the background, I'm seeing trash, meaning I'm seeing stuff in there that you can see where they've actually covered up, right? So to me, without a doubt, that could very well, in fact, be fake. And like I said, when I saw the copter the first time and all I did was spun up that thing a little bit and it had all that dust all over that thing and all over the solar panels, no way. That thing's already flown. I can almost promise you guys it's already done its mission. Almost promise you. Well, that's a great question, Your Highness. You said, why doesn't NASA go here? Oh, why haven't they? That's a great question. But here's the thing. We're seeing what we're seeing now, right? And we can see pretty good, you know, when you zoom into this, you can see pretty good resolution. When I say resolution, I should say details, right? And even then, it's complete crap as far as I'm concerned compared to what they are seeing. Can you imagine the imagery coming down from the Mars, the MRO, the Mars Reconnaissance Orbiter, right? You can imagine the detailed look that they get. Now, keep in mind the high-rise camera, or it's like telescopic lens, right? The camera on board the MRO, again, can see a desk on the surface with impeccable detail. So what does that tell you? They can zoom right down to this crystal clear, like you're looking here, like back in the 50s and the 60s, where they had such quality, and the cameras could see you reading a newspaper and see exactly what you're reading back then. So you can't tell me that these, oh, well, they're just, you know, we're trying to get good photos and, oh, give me a break. Even if it took them a week to get all the information as they claim it's slow data rate, which I don't believe that either. I believe in quantum communications, and I believe that's what they have. I don't believe for a moment that they're not getting these things within minutes. And I'm talking about a huge photo. I'm not talking about something like a little snap. You know what I mean? I'm talking about a huge photo, stuff like this here laid out. There's no way. I mean, it's just everywhere. And you can see right in this area alone, you can see where they fudged this out. Right here, you can see, look how you can see like half of these things. Let me just back up just a little bit because I don't want it too grainy. You can see where like half of them it's going into right there. You can see the blur right here going like this. But look underneath. You can see a little bit here and there. Little bits and pieces under there. There's something white and something right there you can see right there. Look at the structures right here, guys. They try to blend this color all over everything. But, again, if you didn't see this, if you looked at it this way, you'd be like, wow, that's a real pretty photo. Again, and somebody said, oh, Chris, you're saying this is water. I didn't say with a definition that it is. Excuse me. Oh, no. I just said we're going to use it as a coastline and kind of imagine that it's water. I don't believe for a moment that this is water. Now, I'm not saying there couldn't have been water there at some point, right? I just don't believe it is. I believe what we're seeing here on the right goes right into the left-hand side. And for all we know, let's just assume that the real photo, this is all brown like the ground over here. These might have been these sections right here, these right here. This is either a crater wall going down, or this is a lake bed, and this might have been the lakes right here. These small pieces right here. See, these little bodies of water could have been. I don't know. Pure speculation. But again, I can zoom into this, and I can still see these things here. So, like I said, my last video I did of this in the very beginning was most of this blue. And I don't know if I can find this thing in here. It's really hard to find until you actually get into it. But let me see if I can. I don't believe that I can, but let me see. There should be, and I mentioned this. No, that ain't it either. There's a like a sphere in here. And it's right there. Right here. There's actually a sphere there, and it has a shadow to it. And again, and this is another thing I was analyzing. We're seeing the brightness over here. This may be real, guys, and I'm going to tell you why. Look at the shadowing behind some of these right here. I'm going to put it right in the middle. This may be the sun shining to this direction, and this is the reason why we're seeing a lot of these darker areas, because it's shadowing. These are tall, and it's shadowed behind them. And this is what we're seeing, and this is the reason why it's so bright on this. I called it the coastline. But, again, I believe this all runs into it. And let's say it is. Let's say this was water. They're not going to come out and show it like this. We all know that. We think that'd be crap. They wouldn't do that. But, to me, that's what's going on here. This is the reason why we're seeing it very bright. And I don't know why it'd be super bright there, but as you go more inland, it seems to get darker and darker. You can see what it looks like right here. It looks like shadowing. So if these structures are in fact there, and depending on how tall they are, you'll have shadows behind them. Again, this spherical ball right here, if you watch my original one, I think it was in 2014, and you'll see this quite well. It's actually like a silver sphere, and there's a shadow right there on the right-hand side of it. So the sunlight is coming from the left to the right, and this is the reason why I think we're seeing what we're seeing here. Again, Julia, thank you very much for your support. It is appreciated. Much love to you, as always. And by the way, we still look forward to what's coming up, by the way, guys. She said, I think it's going to be the end of this month. And she can correct me if I'm wrong. But she's definitely going to have the Antarctica, and it's going to be strictly Antarctica, which is going to be awesome. New stuff coming out. She showed me some things she's found and been brought to her attention. I can't wait to show you guys that. Well, she'll show it to you. She'll have it on her site, which will be awesome. And I'll be happy when she actually gets this thing up there, because just some of the photos I've seen are absolutely awesome. So we look forward to that. Can't wait to see that happen. Phil C., what's going on? He said, for Pete's sake, I just got the notification. Anyways, hello, everyone. Hey, Phil, it's good to see you in there anyway, man. Good to see you in there. Mimi, I agree with you. I don't know. I really do wish to. You said, I wish we knew how tall these structures are, or these buildings are. I don't know. I mean, like I said, you can see like down like in here. It's like these, you can see like the sun is actually hitting some of these on the top, like right here, this top of this. And then behind it, look at the shadowing. So I don't know how big these things are. I couldn't tell you. And at this point, because it is a satellite view, it'd be tough to guesstimate. Unless they said, let's say they said it was 20,000 feet off the surface. Well, then you go, okay, I can maybe get some kind of idea. I mean, you know, but it's almost impossible. And like I said, to me, guys, it's when I seen that there, you know, to me that was just. Let me see. You can download it right here if you guys want to check it out yourself. But again, this was absolutely. I just went in there. I typed in, you know, tsunamis, satellite photo of, you know, city after tsunami, and absolutely looks like the same thing we're looking at here. Look at the long rectangular pieces. Now the question is, are they long, or are there many of them? And because it's so far up, and you can see that there may be multiple things there. Look at all right in the center right here. On the left-hand side, I'm going to put it right in the middle. Well, not in the middle of the page, but it'll be in the middle of the photo on the left-hand side. Look at the way those things are shaped. Let me guess. Those are compression artifacts too, right? Oh, yeah. Yeah, George, yep. Good to see you there, George, by the way. Yeah, and I actually took that out during... when I was showing it to you, because I did this here. Let me see. I did that there so that these would not be, it would not fool. Let me do this. So it wouldn't mess with your eyes going, oh yeah, the body of water. And so I didn't want to do that. And clearly we know this is from Earth. We can see the roadways and stuff, right? But again, this section alone, that's not compression artifacts. Those are structures, and they've been pretty much wiped, or been, you see like this mess here? You can say, well, that's nothing. When you see it on Mars, you say, well, that's nothing, man. It's just a bunch of squigglies. Is it? No. This is actually something that's been washed by a tsunami. And, of course, again, we do have that photo. So I wanted to share that with you guys, because I found that really interesting. And, again, it's Chennai, India, on December 29th, 2004. And, yeah, that made a hell of a mess out of that area. Let me see. Yes, Ricardo, you're right. The image is Pia 14462, Small Mountain, Crazy, Palacia. But yeah, absolutely. Tater Tot, he said it looks like ruins. Well, here, obviously, it's what's left of the small town or the city over here in India. But again, like I said, when we see these here, again, you know, some people would look at that. And now, can you imagine if I show this? Let's zoom in to this area right here. They'll say, oh, you're just making that up, man. That's not even real. And then show them, pull out and show them the photo. They'll be like, But yeah, when you see it on Mars, it's compression artifacts. It's complete crap. Really? Because this actually looks clearer and looks better than what's left of India, at least that city in India. So, yeah. But I knew that would happen, and this is the reason why I actually said that. I think I even said that real quick on the video, while doing the video, that I said, you know, these aren't artifacts because you would see it on both sides. It's another round piece here. I don't know if you guys have seen this. This is pretty cool. Almost looks round here. Actually, it has this piece here and doing this. Almost looks pointed, and it has this round piece right here. That's weird. And again, we have what looks like, well, let me do this. I'll do it. Instead of doing these huge increments, we'll do it this way. Again, it looks like we have sunlight on the tallest structures, and between them, or behind them, it's all shadowed out. Like, these are the tallest ones, and then the smallest ones are in the back. Now, I did make the photo dark, so you're going to see that. It's going to really overemphasize any shadowing, of course. But you guys get the idea. Wow. And like I said, there's more in here, guys, so we'll definitely do a quick second part of this thing, too. It's just cool to see. But what I find interesting is the way this thing did this. Look at the way this... It's almost like there's like walls here. See how this is almost like right here, like it's brightest? And then you can still see them over here. See that? All in here, on the left. It's all there. And, you know, some people say, well, I don't really see the structures. Well, they wouldn't look like normal structures if they've been washed or they've been decimated somehow. Again, nuclear blast, some kind of tsunami. Check this out. I just noticed these too, and I didn't even see these before. It's amazing what you can see right here. Look at this. I'm not sure what that is. It's like it's doing this here. This is doing this, and of course it stops. You don't really see it, but check that out. Look at the way those things are. Again, look at this. Here's a shadowing right here on the ground. I don't know how big these things here are. Almost like some kind of waterway or something like that. But you can see the shadow right here on the ground. So all this is in the shadow right here. And all of this on the top is like it's sunlight. And then anything, again, is smaller is going to be in darkness or in the shade, right? That's what it looks like to me. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Yeah, I was going to say that, Josh. You took the words right out of my mouth. You said it would be easy to get the size. Mars satellite vehicles have a pretty standard orbit height. I think it's about 600 to 800 kilometers or so, or more. So these buildings are not pixie size. Well, somebody had said that. They said, what do you say? I actually got a kick out of it. They said something about, oh, it's like houses for hamsters. I'm like, what is this guy even talking about? But, you know, like I said, knowing that they're lying about the size of this, would you believe the pixel size? I wouldn't at all. If they say, well, you know, it's X amount of pixels per square inch, blah, 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 whatever, I wouldn't believe them. Only because we can see what they're doing here to these photos, so why would we believe that? Again, if you were to read that and say, well, yeah, if you judge it on the pixel size, these things would have to be like little housing for hamsters. Or if you believe that, what they're showing you and telling you, then I guess you would believe that. I'm just noticing something else down there, too. Check this out right here. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it looks like it has like these little pieces around them. I don't know if you guys can see that. That's pretty cool. Just notice that right there. Again, all in a row. And then, of course, all these others here. But, oh, there's so much to see in here. It's just crazy. I love it. Absolutely love it. Robert Milley said maybe charred, and that could very well be too, right? There you go, Josh D. Chipmunks. Cloudy with a chance of UFOs. You said, well, underwater too. Reminds me of the cube from Transformers a little bit. Yeah, remember how intricate those pieces were? Yeah. The other thing I thought was pretty interesting too, and I think it's just a shadowing, to be honest with you guys, is right here you got this. It almost looks like this is like an upper ground, and anything else goes under it. See that, the way that thing is? And it's got that kind of weird look to it. Almost like there's a tear in the ground, and what you're seeing under here is like under it. Now, I'm not saying that's what it is. I'm sure it's just a shadowing, and it's probably more than likely what it is. But let's do this. Let's bring up this a little bit here on the exposure. Just don't like to make it too white because then it just smears all the brighter parts, right? Pat Owen, you said Martians were little people like Lilliputians. Well, they were saying that there's both. They were saying that there was both tall, beings on Mars as well as smaller. And, of course, people go with the theory because Mars is like just slightly larger than, it's like it's slightly larger than half of Earth, right? So it makes sense that maybe they're thinking, well, because it's so small that, let me just see something here. There we go. So it makes sense that thinking maybe they'd just be smaller people. Is that a possibility? I sure. We have smaller people here on Earth. You can have all kinds of stuff like that, right? So now, is it possible to have both? I guess. I don't know. It's not like I live there, and so I can't tell. But Valerian the Mac 3 says, Anunnakis? You know what? I think whoever might have been on our moon was most likely probably on Mars, and vice versa. And I said this before, my opinion, and I believe that this whole solar system was probably home to a lot of aliens. When I say aliens, I hate to use that term because it makes it sound like these little grays with the almond eyes. I think they're a lot like us, or very, very similar. They don't have to be exactly like us, of course. But let's say they weren't. I could be way off. But the thing is, to me, it makes sense that, we were probably, our solar system was home to many beings at some point, and they probably just planet hopped. Like you would take a long trip to wherever, they just get in their spaceship and they're there in no time. So it's not even a big deal to travel. And again, pure speculation. I got no way to prove that or back that up. But if what we see on the moon is absolutely real, and what we're seeing in these photos, which we do believe they are, then it tells me that you can bet whoever's been on this planet's been on multiple planets or moons in our solar system. It just kind of makes sense that if you have good technology, you can bet you can probably have space flight. You're probably spacefaring. That doesn't necessarily mean that, of course, but it's like us. We're still struggling, right? We're doing it. We're getting it done, but we can't just, at least the public is not aware of that. We can't just go to one end of the solar system to another within hours. So yeah. Claudia with a chance of UFOs says top leftish big square building. I'm not sure if you're talking about this one here. There's actually a few of these things in here. You got it almost looks like there's walls here. I'm going to go ahead and bring that back down. One here. This right here. There's so many things in these photos, man. It's just, like I said, it's just crazy. This one photo alone, like I said, is just, awesome. And I'm kind of glad I went back to them. This is the reason why I go back to my older ones sometimes. Because one, pretty much honed my skills how to pull the stuff out. And of course, I've been doing that for years. But, you get to the point where you're just like, okay, I've got this. I'm going to just revisit some of these old ones. Because I bet I can get a better turnout as far as like what I can really pull out of these photos. And of course, I don't think I really got into it a lot like I did on this one. So, it's good to actually go back and literally tear this one apart, right? This thing just jumped on me, but somebody said maybe they were robots. Is that a possibility? Sure. I don't know if they'd be all and have their own separate homes. It's a possibility, I guess. If they had more of maybe they're like a hybrid, where they were like partly machine and partly flesh. I mean, because you would think they'd just all report to one building, right? You know what I mean? And not have like a life like we all have, right? Jerry Lahane, you said big perfect circles in the blue zone look like reservoirs. Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking. It could very well be, right? That's a good question, Pat. You said, wonder what their religion was. Maybe they didn't have any at all. It's kind of like here on Earth. You can go to some of these uncharted islands, and you'll see these people who are indigenous to that particular island. They never even heard of it. Now, do they have their own beliefs? Sure. But if you try to introduce them to yours, they'd probably go, I don't know what you're talking about. So maybe they didn't have any. Maybe they did. It's a great question. It'd be interesting to find out. Jack Lambert, you said I could study this image for the rest of my life. So much here, it's just amazing. Yeah, I agree with you. Like I said, when I pulled these things out, I started to eyeball it and go over it, and I said, my God. Oh, wow, there's another one. And you just kept going and going and going. And when you look at each intricate piece, you say, there's no way. This is clearly real. I mean, just the things that are in here. I've seen photos with, like, compression artifacts. I've seen photos with pixelation. Plenty of these things. And no way does it look like that. It just doesn't. Charlene, you said There is still life there now, just that they live inside the planet. Talking to James, of course. Yeah. They could be both right now, right? Even though these areas look like they took a hit somehow, whether it be, something catastrophic like an explosions like we've seen or we talked about, or both, because, once you disrupt the planet and everything on it, then you get these tsunamis going in every direction, and it just wipes out the planet. It doesn't mean that it's dead, right? They may be just hiding underground. But my question's always been, if that's true, and let's say they were the size of you and I. I'm just going to throw that out there. So if that's true, wouldn't you be beating the crap out of that rover? Unless it's aware of its surroundings and it can use its laser to take you out. But even then, at some point, if there's enough of you ought to be able to beat the thing to death. So, and plus his wires are exposed. So that's why I don't really believe that they may be there, unless they're extremely tiny and they just can't do any kind of damage to the thing. But if they were the size of you and I, and you didn't like it there, there's a good chance you're going to try to do what you can to, napalm the thing if you can. You know what I'm saying? You'll do everything in your power to get rid of it. James Cragen, you said to Chris, it looks like a satellite image of war-torn Syrian town of Mosul, rather. It's 100% undeniable evidence of a past or present civilization that lived or used the planet Mars without a doubt. Yeah, I mean, a lot of people said, in fact, they believe some of the Sumerians did, and that they used it as a, some say like a jump-off point or just were there temporary. I don't believe that's the case, judging on what we're seeing in this photo. I think it was very much like we are here on Earth. In other words, we're here. We've been here for thousands of years, and it might have been, more cycles than that, meaning we've been on Earth much more or much longer than we know, thousands upon thousands of years. And that goes back to Julia and Sarah's, research on Antarctica, where they believe that the soil samples that they have done were 96,000 years, and maybe even plus of that, what was industrial area, because it was actual metals in the soil, which were paid for by Sarah to analyze them. And I think she said it was a little over $11,000 to have these things done. But regardless of the price, it's just like they're seeing what looks like metals in there, and it showed what looked like industrialization. If that's true, 96,000 years ago? Then we're much older and we were probably much more technologically advanced, but we've had our share of catastrophic events here on Earth almost ended us, and then, of course, we were repopulated and had to get back up where we were, and, of course, we're in the fifth cycle of that. So this might have happened to us 4 prior times, and that wouldn't surprise me. If you're talking about thousands upon thousands of years, it's a very good possibility. Could have asteroid, meteor strike, could have been anything. Look at the dinosaurs. Supposedly taken out by a giant rock. I mean, you just don't know. Some people speculated that maybe there's a meteor shower that came through and it nailed both Mars and Earth, and that's what ended life, or kind of almost killed off life, period, on both planets. So, like I said, in my opinion, when I was thinking about, speculating more than anything, when I said, is it possible that we had life on Mars and Earth at the same time thousands of years ago, and we just used to go back and forth? I'm not saying it's out of the question, and of course I can't prove that either, but again, pure speculation. But to me, when I see these things, they look a lot like we see here on Earth. So it's like, So, I don't know, guys. What's your theory on that? Anybody got a theory on that as well? I'm going to drop down here, this thing. Charlene says, thumbs up, y'all. What do you got, 213 watching, 214, 177? Thumbs up? Master King K says, stop acting, people. Uh-oh. Who's acting here? Tater Tot says, I'm freaking out. I want to put my phone in the freezer now. Ooh, that wouldn't be good for it. Let's see. Charlene, you said, I believe humans are really close to that technology. Oh, yeah. We're much, as far as what we know, oh, yeah, it's, like I said, I've heard anywhere between, a couple 100 years ahead of what the general public has. So think about right now what we've got. Now, what do we got now? The iPhone 12 Plus Turbo, whatever the hell they call these stupid different models. It wasn't just long ago that people had the iPhone 7 and thought, oh, wow, the best technology in the world. Now it's crap. Well, it's not crap. It's a great working phone. I've got one. But it's not the point. It's like it just rolls on and rolls on. Every year, something new. Now, if you are trying to make something even better, meaning it's going to allow you to travel through space, how much effort would you put into that? Okay? So you could bet you got these giant think tanks where these people are like at the stuff hardcore. Astrophysicists, all these, brainiacs of the world working on different things saying, we can get this done, we can make it better, we can faster, blah, 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 blah. And you can bet that we have the technology to probably fly to Mars in like a friggin' hour, something ridiculous. And it wouldn't surprise me. It really wouldn't. If they get the technology they say they do, then it would not surprise me if that was the case. You know what I mean? That the technology is ungodly. In fact, I was talking to a guy today. I was in the waiting room. There's a garage I go to. It's pretty funny. I go down there and I said, yeah, Eddie, I need to get this oil change in here. Now I've already changed the air filter, cabin filter, all that crap in the car. But I said, I just don't have the time to change oil out. He said, all right. So he changed out. There's a guy there. He's like 87 years old. I'm like, and he's just going on and talking and stuff like that. And cool stories he has. He was in the service. And stuff like that. And he said his father, I believe it was, or his father, yeah. Actually, I'm sorry, he's not. He's 79 years old. I actually said 87. He's 79 years old, and he tells me about his dad, who was actually in the service. And I told him, I said, well, my brother was too. He was in the Air Force for 13 years down in Myrtle Beach. And he said, oh, okay. He says, well, I said, yeah. He says, what was he doing in there? I said, he was an aircraft mechanic. So at the time, this was back in the 80s, I can go down there and you can go in there and check out the Warthogs, like I said, the A-10s and the F-16s and all this other stuff, and literally touch the things and everything else. And I said, yeah. The sad thing about it is my brother, I thought he was a putz. And he says, why is that? I said, well, he had the chance to actually go to Area 51. He said, no. And I said, are you insane? He said, I didn't want to go. He said, because I think I told you guys the story. He said, well, because there's far too many. The divorce rate is way off the scale. I went, okay, and what does that mean? What does that even mean? And he said, well, the thing is, you can't come back. You can't come home and talk about your day. I said, who cares? If your wife says to you, hey, honey, so how was your day? You say, well, it's great, hon. It was pretty productive. It was pretty sweet. And if she already knows that you got that kind of job, then she knows she can't dig. Therefore, end of discussion. Now, if you're there for X amount of hours a day, and she's okay with it when you guys get together, and, so there shouldn't be an issue. Now, if there is, then I guess the love wasn't that strong, was it? So, anyway, so he tells me how his dad actually went there as well, and actually went to Area 51, was working there. I said, really? And the way he said it, he goes, I believe there is people in the sky. I said, what do you mean by that? He says, well, my dad would tell me, I'd ask him, are those UFOs? And, he'd try to drill them for information back in the day. And the only thing he did was ever just say is, oh, those are UFOs in the sky? And he just nodded his head and he wouldn't say another word. So he goes, what about, and he'd ask him questions about different things. And he just told him, I can't answer that. He just told him right out. So, I mean, I understand if they're top secret hour craft, meaning like if you were back in the day and you had the SR-71 and different spacecraft. I can understand. Listen, it's a classified aircraft. You can't speak of it, so it kind of makes sense. But there's much more going on there. He told me near his death there was much more going on down there, but he wasn't going to get into it. He took it to the grave. I said, that sucks. I said, that sucks big time. Guys, I was just looking at this here. I don't know if you guys have seen this either. This whited area right here. And what I noticed about it has these slots in it right here. See this? It's been covered up. Guys see that? And the way this thing is shaped, it kind of looks like it's doing this. And it looks like the way they colored that thing. I'm just going to move out just a hair bit so it's not too grainy, but like that there. See this little... And right here, the way that it's got those two slots in this thing, and it's like flat white, and it has this white, looks like a globe type of some kind of round circle thing right there. Not sure what to make of that. What are we seeing there? But again, a lot of this is being like put over. You can see again the blur all in this area here, which I thought was interesting. Well, you can see like different things peeking out of, like this right here. You can see where this is white, this piece. That's the actual color of this. But what they did was they overlaid this like dirt color all over everything. And you can see that. Or it's because of the tsunami and it's mud all over it, which is a very good possibility. Would not surprise me. Oops. I was just ready to read your comment. I think it was Josh D. No, that's not it. I think this jumped on me. I hate when this thing does this. Let me see if I can go back to it. You were saying something about the scale. Okay, here it is. Rescale. The crater is 12 kilometers across. Image size and orbit at height of MRO includes circa 3 meters per pixel. So that's only 10 feet per pixel. See, I don't know if I believe all that. That was, it wasn't, it was Ricardo. I'm sorry he said that. 12 kilometers. No, I don't know. And when I'm looking at this, it seems to be a lot bigger than that. What's your real thought on that, though? Do you believe that's true, Ricardo? I'm going to jump all the way back down there. So if I didn't get anybody's questions or anything, I'll just go ahead and do it again if you don't mind. Rock Hits is taking off, says Skinwalker Ranch. Love it. Night all. All right, Rock Hits, good to see you in there, man. And have yourself a good weekend there, right? Jim Donahue, you said Roswell alien was interviewed in 1947. Alien said that there was war on Mars between two alien races. One was a corrupted alien race obliterated in 1120 AD, and we're all descendants of aliens from center of Milky Way. Yeah, I think I've seen something on there. It was kind of like, wasn't he kind of like in his dark room kind of thing, and you see him talking and stuff like that, or like they were, it's kind of like this, it's like kind of a raspy voice. Was that the same one, or was that something different? Bad one. X quarter mile of drag strip. It's hard to tell, right? Maybe they love racing too. What do you think? That's true too, Pat. You said meteors seed life to the planets that are ready for it. Yeah, I do remember that, James. You said, Chris, remember what the head of the Skunk Works, Black Ops, said in an interview a few years ago in regards to what technology we have, and he said that we can now fly ET home. And he said ETS, they said home. Remember? Yes, I do. And there was another guy, and I don't remember. I probably got the picture somewhere. Probably got it on my external hard drive there. But he said anything you can think of, dream up, they've done it already. And, you know, you're thinking to yourself, wow, are you serious? Because even if you look at things like Star Trek, you know, the new Star Trek, and even the old ones, the originals, if you had something like that that's mind-blowing, let alone, you know, anything you could dream up. So, yeah. Jay McGuffey said it took us 40,000 years to get off this rock, and now we're heading for Andromeda. Yeah, I mean, well, the funny thing about it is, again, the technology is jumping by leaps and bounds, right? We know that. So it does not surprise me, you what's actually here, right? It doesn't surprise me that they've probably been there. Remember we were saying there was a video about that they believed that there was humans that we had already been on. I think it was in the late 60s? No, late 70s I think it was. I think of mid to late 70s where they said we've probably already been on Mars and we got bases there. And you know what? It doesn't surprise me. Again, if we've been to the moon, and we know we have, and we had how many missions? You think of that. Okay, so we got that pretty much down pat. What would be the difference other than time to get there? And if we were to believe they still had the old crappy rockets back then too, which could have very well been. But what's the difference between going to the moon and Mars? Now, again, distance, of course. And that can play a huge part in a person's body, of course. But what if they said, you know what, they had a way to not to go into cryo sleep, of course. That would be too high tech for that. But if you think about, okay, what would you need? You need extra food, oxygen, and stuff like that. Atmospherics for the craft itself. And somehow you need to stay kind of healthy. So do they make something you can exercise on and keep your muscle mass up and everything else and get there? And here's the thing. Again, they were working on, if they had the SR-71 back in the day, and I believe they started planning that thing, meaning put the plans together, the techno plans to it, back in the late 40s, and then they built it in the 50s. And it wasn't just one, there were several. And it wasn't declassified till the 90s. So if they had something like that, and you could bet they were always working on propulsion back then. Somebody said there was even anti-gravitics. They were playing around with that in the 40s. So why would it not surprise anybody if you can get to Mars in no time, build a base? Build something very large. Anti-gravitics, how hard would it be to get off the ground with X amount of weight? Almost nothing? I mean, come on. If that's true, of course. Now, the way I look at it is this. I'm not saying I'm ruling it out because I think it's a very good possibility. But there's no way to prove it. Other than saying, well, and we were talking about Andy earlier, where he was saying that because he said he went through a jump room, and there's several jump rooms. You go into these buildings in an elevator. You go into one elevator and you come out and you're literally on Mars. So it doesn't mean that you just go down a floor or two and it's there. It's like a transporter type thing, and it's like, and you go into these jump rooms and you're already at the base. It's on the surface of Mars, and then the doors open up and you're on the surface. So. I found that interesting. Now, whether I believe that or not, I don't know. He said he was on there with William Whitecrow, which I remember hearing. I never met him in person, but he's passed on now. But they claimed that they were being escorted by the military, and I think at some point they had guns as well, walking along with them. And they said that they would have these creatures out there that would eat you. Now, that's why I went, I'm just going, okay, that seems a little far-fetched to me because they said it was kind of like dinosaurs kind of things, like maybe not in a strict sense like we had here, but said that we had like dinosaurs and there was things that were flying and that things would eat you if you turned around and weren't looking, and things would eat you. So I don't know how true that is, but I found it very interesting. And so I thought that was cool and interesting, but did I swallow it? Probably not. But I don't know. Who the hell knows, right? Orion Roberts, what's going on? He said, hey, Chris. Hello, everyone. How are you, Orion Roberts? Jack Lambert. The tech is there, many decades behind what's really disclosed. Massive crime. But I'm just a conspiracy theory nut job. Yeah, I mean, I love how they'll say that the second, you come out with something like this and you say, hey, there was a city on Mars. And they go, yeah, okay, smoke another one. It's right here in the photos. I mean, you can't deny that. And it's not, we're not drawing these pictures. We're not taking them. We're not making them up. They're right here. They're from NASA JPL. And, of course, we have some from ESA and we have some whatever. So, we still have photos from these different space agencies. So there they are, man. I mean, yeah. Master Catnip, she says, I was at Kadena Air Force Base, Okinawa. We had 3 SR-71s, and they were called Habu. They're not Blackbird. I was with the 18th PACAF with Air Force. 1983, 1985, I retired Army, though. Okay, I got you. Yeah, I mean, there was multiple ones built. I mean, it's as simple as that, right? And but nobody knew about these things. And yet, I think it's still considered the fastest craft out there, at least at that point, and up to not too long ago. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. So, I mean, to me, it's like, okay, that was back then. It was designed in the 40s, in early 50s, and of course, they built the darn thing. And here's the thing. People think, you just come up with an engine, just throw it in there and just fly, and it's ready to go. No. They have to test, fly it. They have to do all kinds of tests. You know, you're bound to have problems with the engines. The structural, the body itself. Again, most of those aircraft that are either anything that's subsonic or supersonic, you have it on the tarmac and it's running, it's idling. When I call it idling, it's not like it's, like a car, but it's like just low, just starting to turn up the engines. You have all kinds of fluids leaking out of those things, and they're loosely built for that, like that, until they start getting into the air, and of course the friction will cause everything to seal up, and then all the leaks stop. But it's made to do that, so when it expands everything from the heat, it seals everything up. If you were to make it super tight then, you would just have everything exploding on the craft. So again, they had to experiment with that. They probably put it all together normal, took over oh God, we're having problems. Stuff's breaking apart and busting apart, and hydraulic lines and fuel lines and whatever. I mean, so they had to test this thing. It probably took years. So that's why I was saying it probably was just drawn up on the drawing board in the 40s, put together in the 50s and, of course, test flown and everything else. And then finally they went on its mission. And again, it's a spy plane. So, yeah. Butch Corey, I didn't even see you sneaking there, brother. He said, sorry all, gonna crash. Been up 32 hours. Man, 32 hours. That's a heck of a day there. And a half. Yeah. But yeah, if you're taking off, Mr. Corey, thanks for being here and have a good one there, right? Jim Donahue said they label us to discredit and confuse. Conspiracy theories are usually someone with a higher IQ that questions the BS. Pretty much. Yep. Dennis Johnson, what's going on? You said allegedly it took 4 years to build it. Well, again, that wouldn't surprise me. You got to test the engines, put the body together, and of course everything that goes with it, hydraulic lines, again, fuel lines, all that crap, electronics, whatever they had back in the day, so on and so forth, and now put it all together as a package. Now let's test fly it. So, of course you do a small test, and then of course it leads to, going as high as it can, as fast as it can. I'm sure there was mishaps you probably never even heard of. But these things, that's what happens in science. You push forward, you stumble back a couple steps, but then you push forward. That happens when you're in progression, you know what I mean? So it makes perfect sense to me that they're going to have errors and everything. It's kind of like car builders. It's no different, right? You can have complete fails. I'm not sure of the question, Dale. You said, Chris, why doesn't NASA in areas like above? I don't know if you mean why didn't they go check it out, meaning, like I said, either send a rover. Here's the thing, guys. We don't even know if they ever sent one. We're only going by what they're telling the public, you know what I mean, as far as all right, these are the crafts we're sending. How do we know they haven't sent others? How do we know? I mean, again, if they're lied about things that are in these photos and they lied about things about on the moon and even here at home in Antarctica and stuff like that, what makes people think that they wouldn't lie about, sending out the craft and nobody knows about it? Well, of course, you're not lying if nobody's asked you about it, right? And you're denying it. You just, these are the crafts we send. And we already know, I showed you a chart where it showed there's already 30 missions that either A, failed, or B, went to Mars, orbited, and landed. So between all of the missions, that was just 30, that we know of. That doesn't mean other ones weren't sent. And again, if I was thinking about it, okay, so let's see, the SR-71 was pretty much almost invisible to radar. So what if we were to retrofit that thing with different engines, send that to the moon? What do we need to do? Astronauts and they're in a suit, so we don't have to worry about them dying as far as no life support kind of thing. We got plenty of room. We could do, and I even said this about the what do you call it too? The shuttles we had. I call them shuttles because it's basically what they are. And they had the giant bay doors. They can actually put fuel in there for engines. They can put all kinds of supplies they need to get to the moon. They could easily fly there with no problem. So in space, I mean, how fast can you go just even on the regular engines once you just, push off of, basically I'm saying push off of Earth and then just shut them off and you're flying? How long would it take you to get there? And here's the thing. If you seal the back end of one of those space shuttles, would you be able to walk around in there, get exercise, stuff like that, turn into like a small exercise room, retrofit this thing to actually fly to Mars? You can literally fly to Mars. It doesn't have nearly the gravity we have here on Earth, and the moon's even less. Go there, land there, take off from there, as long as you had enough fuel. And because it's less gravity, you can get off of Mars much easier. And as long as you put yourself on a trajectory, shut the engines off, you have enough fuel to get back. So to me, it's not out of the question that they couldn't have retrofitted the SR-71 or one of these shuttles that we had. It just wouldn't surprise me. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Do you guys think that's like way off, or do you think that's a possibility? Do you think they could have retrofitted something if they, you guys have heard the stories where they have gone, they probably went to Mars back in the 60s, late 60s or 70s. What do you guys think? You think that's true, or do you think, not so much? Let's see. Maybe reaction said there might be rovers all over Mars. Yeah, I mean, again, here's the thing. When you put orbiters up there, right? You're taking these photos long before you send these rovers. Again, the first rover was in 1997 when we had the Pathfinder lander with the Sojourner rover. So this is back in 97. Now, we've had orbiters going there. We had a lander land on there. We had two landers, the Viking landers, both 1 and 2, back in 75, 76. Okay. So we seen what was on the ground, and you could bet they had the best cameras they could possibly put on anything back in the day. Did that. So they knew what the ground was like, and I think it even had its own, I'm going to call it it's like a cheesy weather station. They could probably tell what it was. They've got satellites, orbiters, taking the best pictures at the time that they could take. Probably seen these structures. Okay, there's structures here, but nothing on this side of Mars. Well, maybe a little bit over there. Let's check out the one that's most populated, or was at the time. We'll go there first. So it took all this time to come up with these ideas, and again, we're talking about mid-70s on, where they say, okay, let's build this, let's build that. Can we do it? This, that, and the other plans, and finally they come up with something, and they went in 97. So, and of course, we know what happened to that poor little Sojourner. It got caught on the rocks, and like I said, when we analyzed that picture, people were telling me, hey, did you see that little alien on there? And I said, oh, that's so silly. But then I looked, I said, it actually looks like a little alien on the rock trying to push up against the rover, trying to stop it from running it over, itself over. I don't know. But it was just really, really weird where it did actually look like that. But, they're going to go to the most congested areas if they can find it. And then I go, okay, this is where we need to go. There's the coordinates. What's the weather like there? What do we need to do? So, and that's what they did. They just planned it all out. And, they went, whatever they could. Again, the first spacecraft, or I should say lander, and not first lander, but they landed with a rover back in 97. That's how it started. And, of course, we had the sister ones in 2004, Spirit and Opportunity, and, of course, 2012, Curiosity rover, and then we had, of course, 2020, which is our Perseverance. So, yeah, pretty cool. I mean, they're not going there, guys, for no reason. This is the reason we're seeing here on the screen. This is exactly the reason why they're there. Now, some people come in here, I don't believe that at all. Well, you don't have to. I mean, but you look at the photos. If your eyes deceive you that bad, I don't know what to tell you, but there it is. And like I said, I could see this without even doing this. The only difference is I brought out the lines much, much better, and this is the reason why we're seeing them where we are, but you can still see it in the average or the raw photo, if you want to call it that. I heard about that too, Master Catnip. She said there were Apollo astronauts that flew to Mars called Operation Red Sun in 97 that was classified. I heard about that too. I don't know if that's true, but I mean, I did hear about that as well, so not even surprised, would you be? Exactly, Crack. What was it? Where's that other one go? Actually, a couple of them here. Where did it go? I was actually combining two names. But anyway, I think it was Craig that said something about if they had the technology back in the 40s, what do you think they got now? Exactly. I think we can only imagine it and not actually, you know what I mean, to actually see it. But from what I heard, there's amazing things that is being built and have been built. Let's see. Joe the Bird, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate that. You said, hi, Chris. Your vid on January 28th, mechanical objects found, capital letters on the rock. Video at 7 minutes and 3 seconds. You drew a green ring. I see letters Halico in the middle. You're not the first one to say this. There's, of course, some people have seen it a little bit different, but definitely seen that, right? I thought that was pretty interesting because I went back and I seen the letters too. Now, they do change a little bit, meaning because a couple of them were kind of vague, right? But, still, it was. You guys got a good eye on that. You've seen that. Again, thank you very much for your support. I do appreciate you. Pat Owen, you said JFK was awesome. That's why they assassinated him. Well, I think he was actually going to come out with the information about it too, wasn't he? So I thought that was really interesting. Not good, but here's the other thing too. You guys see this? The Blue Rays, New Horizons, high res, farewell to Pluto. Oh yeah. But the funny thing about it is, let me see if I can do this here. Well, probably can't. Hold on. Ain't set. Okay. That is a really, really good photo. But we're going to check this thing out a little bit more, too, because I found it really interesting in this. I want to see if we can find anything in here, because I'm looking at the very top of this. And it looks like you can see the actual mountains and everything. See that? Of course, they have these lines here. I'm not sure what that's all about. I don't know why there'd be these lines like that, but that may be just because of the actual light, the differential between the light itself and the dark, and you're getting this weird I think this one here says that the sun is actually behind it, so you get this kind of like eclipse thing going on. So you can see what these might be shadows coming off these mountaintops. You can see it right there, like this one here. So, but what I found interesting is what is on there. I want to take a really, really good look at this thing and find out, what's really going on there. Let me see something here. Yeah. It's amazing how, really high quality they can really take a photo when they want to. And this is what, Pluto? But yeah, for some reason we can't get it together when it comes to Mars. Yeah, it makes sense. Mimi Reacts, she said, Chris, there's even footage about the manned mission to Mars in 1973. Yeah, see, I seen that one too. Remember, it shows it like orbiting around Mars now. It almost positive shows it like landing. And then they're talking about something that's crawling into the sand. Is that the one you're talking about there, Mimi? Because I've seen that too, and I don't know what to make of that. I don't know if, can you imagine if that is in fact real? That's just wild. If it's real. If not, then it's just a big hoax as far as I'm concerned. But on the other side of the token, if it is real, wow. And it wouldn't surprise me, because if it is the same when you're talking about it, it looks like something's actually under the sand or whatever. At least that's the one I saw. But yeah, regardless of that, I mean, I think there's life on it. I think there's still indigenous life. I think there's animals, things that fly. I believe it's all there. But that's just my opinion, you know. Tater Tot, you said that bright building with a hole in the middle of it looks like it was one large building that got bombed and it just slid down the hill. Yeah, I mean, it's a good possibility, right? Now, we can only, like I said, we can only speculate as to what happened there. But on the other side of the token, it's like, well, you know, again, we just don't know. What we do know is that what I'm seeing here is just incredible. And this is the reason why they're there. Jay McGuffey, he said, pull it. Not good. X64, what's going on? He said, there's a big crack there. Could there be a disaster? Well, I was thinking the very same thing right here. And I said, what happens if that's actually another layer of the ground and this is like under? Or, because here's the thing. Remember we were looking at this here. I'm not going to go in too far because I don't want it to be the picture to fall apart. Let's assume, and I hate when you assume, but let's say this area right here, and I said this earlier, is that this is the top of the ground and this is under, and all of this had fallen from here. In other words, it cracked away and fell down on top of all of these structures. In other words, if there was a flood and it washed everything onto this, or is it possible that there's two layers, meaning there's some people living on the top of the ground, some people living under? Now, I don't know why they would do that. Of course, it's not like we don't do it here, right? We have structures underground as well as, we have underground bases and stuff like that. But I looked at that and I'm saying, well, you can see where they just went like this and they just put this gray stuff like from here and just kind of put it all like right there. That's what they did. You can see that. When you really look at these things well, you can see that there's structures in between them and you can see the shapes of these things underneath the darker, you know, I'm going to call it manipulation or censoring underneath that. What's going on there, Pashon? Good to see you in there. Said great-granddaughter of, yeah, exactly. Dwight D. Eisenhower says she was recruited to travel to Mars. But I think she said she didn't want to go. They recruited her to go, but she didn't want to. Which I think that's Laura Eisenhower wanted to do. And they were saying that they recruited her. Said, yeah, you want to go? And she said, nope. Which I thought was really crazy, man. The fact that they even asked her, I'd be like, okay, first of all, what came out of my mouth is, okay, you're asking me to go. How are you getting there? And how long would it take? So on and so forth. Now, I'm sure she's asked these questions, but I don't recall her even asking those types of questions. But that's the first thing I do. I say, okay, so when you're saying go there and ask all kinds of questions about it, because I'd be curious. If they said, no, we can get there within 3 days, they were like, well, hell yeah, sign me up. Yeah, Tater Tot, you were talking about that. You said at Phil C., where's the light coming from in the Pluto picture? Well, they claim it's, like I said, that the sun is behind it. So it's looking from that side. I'm saying, how can that possibly be? Wouldn't the sun be extremely small on that other end of the solar system? I would think. But that's what they claim it is. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing that kind of weird halo type thing around it because the sun's supposed to be behind Pluto. I'm not saying that's out of the question. It could very well be right. Like I said, I just find it really interesting. Because, I mean, you can see some pretty decent hills and stuff like that in the background there. And I'm thinking, may have to look into this a little deeper, right? Be curious. And you may not find a thing there. It might just be nothing there to see. But the high-resolution color departure shot of Pluto's receding crescent from NASA's New Horizon spacecraft, taken when the spacecraft was 120,000 miles or 200,000 kilometers away from Pluto. I like that. Shown as approximately true color. Oh, I love that. Was constructed from a mosaic of 6 black and white images from a long-range reconnaissance imager, or the LORRI, L-O-R-R-I, with color added from the lower-resolution Ralph multispectral visible imaging camera, or the MVIC, color image, all acquired between 1520 and 1545 UT, or Universal Time, about 3.5 hours after closest approach to Pluto. Now, I find it interesting. I still don't understand why we can't take photos like a regular camera. Or just RGB, you know. I understand in some ways they want to take it in different wavelengths. I get that. But I still find it really weird how just take a photo. And if you can't do it out here, what about Mars? What about just a standard photo, man? You know, take an iPhone. Take it up there with you and throw it on the rover and just take a photo, will you? I just don't get it. And a lot of you guys have said the same thing. Why can't they just take a simple photo and it can't be crystal clear? And you know they are. Josh D said middle, a lower part, orange anomaly surrounded by two large, or L-shaped rather, walls. Very interesting. Oh yeah. The more you look at that thing, you just start seeing, wow. And again, if you look at that, that's why I left that photo up as long as I did here in Photoshop, because everybody, you know, if you want to look at it with your magnifiers or zoom in with the camera, whatever you want to do, or computer, whatever you're on, that's the way to do it. John Che, great argument. A lot of people have said this, you know, they said the Giant's Causeway has plenty of straight lines. You're right. Absolutely. And if you looked at them, it looked like the octagonal, right? They got that weird shape and they're all together. But we see different things like they're actually structures. So, but you're right. You know, Mother Nature could do some crazy things now. Don't get me wrong. She can do some really cool things, shapes, sizes, just weird, man. But, you know, and somebody had said that before. They said, because they were being a little bit more crappy about it. But they're like, oh, apparently you've never seen the Giant's Causeway. Yeah, I have. Okay, now what? I mean, but although Mother Nature's very crafty, that doesn't mean man can't be too. So, Josh D, if that is normal, my new front tooth is also. Yeah. Yeah, that's definitely not. But I mean, you know, you can argue some of the things, and they'd have a great point. Because there's some things you can bring out some shapes, and, you know, Mother Nature could, in fact, do that. When you run into photos like this, not so much. At least in my opinion, right? Dale Rogers said Percy can't see 50 feet in front of her. I'm sure she can see a lot further. But, yeah, I know what you mean by that. You know, like I said, you always see the foreground looks pretty decent, right? And then the background, complete trash. And you know any camera, like I said, just use your regular phone you got now. The camera is capable of doing much more than at least the photos that they're giving us. Now, I'm not saying as far as like the details it can actually take and what they're actually seeing. And like I said, from the orbiter itself, when you can zoom down to a surface of a planet, down to about a 5-foot disk and see it in great detail, I'm not seeing that here. But I am seeing quite a bit of detail in here that proves to me, without a doubt, that this is all intelligently made. And I think it's the best argument for anything when people say, I don't think there's any argument on any life on Mars. Yes, absolutely there was. Now, is there still? That's the big question, right? Is there still life on there? I don't know. I truly don't. Pat Owen, you said 2 billion-year-old ruins. See, I don't even think they're quite that old at all, guys. I'll be honest. I don't think they're that old. Now, I'm not saying it's like last week's, but I mean, you know, like I said, if we were to, and I said this before, if we were to put this together with the giant nuclear blast back in what was seen in 1941 in the Mars atmosphere. It wasn't on the ground. It was in the atmosphere when they were ignited or set off, if you will. When they had the explosions then, is it possible? Think about this. We weren't looking around in 1941. Nobody here on the planet was going, unless, of course, you were, astronomer or anything like that, was looking at Mars. Now, one guy actually noticed that. And they just looking at it. What was his name? Tom Bohr? Is that what his name was? They were looking at Mars and seeing two giant flashes. One was bigger than the other. It might have been just the way it was in the atmosphere, and it appeared that way. But so when they see this, okay, and then you go, okay, so 1941 up to this point, how many years is it? Okay, 75, 80 years ago, whatever it may be. Okay, is it impossible to believe maybe that happened then? Nobody was thinking at that time in 1941, hey guys, I know there's life on Mars. Let's go ahead and check it out. At least the public was not. So you know as well as I do, there could have been life up to that point. We would have never known it. How would we have known that? So, and if you think about like here on Earth, like Chernobyl, you can literally walk around in Chernobyl. I don't think I'd be eating off the ground over there, but they say life's coming back. I've seen a video on it where there's plants and animals coming back, and any animal that was deformed of anything like that because of radiation, they're now being phased out. In other words, all of the weaker animals, I'm going to call it, and now it's all getting back to normal, seeing normal animals back. Trees, and you can safely walk through there. Again, I don't think they recommend that you sleep there, but and take up residency there. But the fact that you can still do that. How many years ago was that? Okay, so why can't we do the same thing on Mars and still do the same thing? And how do we know that's not when that all took place? We don't. You know, as far as I'm concerned, when you stop putting this together, you got xenon 129, you got all kinds of other these chemicals in the air. If that's the case, what was the point of those? Why were they set off? Who set them off? And if there was a civilization on that planet, would they have not been all killed off? And again, if you light it off on the ground, meaning you just detonate these things on the ground, it's going to do some serious damage right then. Boom, big. But if you do it in the midair, it's going to send this concussion and just blow things to hell. And they're supposed to be extremely large, nothing like we have here on Earth. They're supposed to be like X amount of, nukes combined to make one bomb that went off in the atmosphere. So if that's true, then what really happened there? And it wasn't enough to wipe out that civilization. I believe so. Maybe it didn't wipe it out all over Mars, but maybe it didn't have to. Because maybe it only had it on one part of Mars. Maybe a giant area, but it was still on Mars, right? Absolutely, Jim. You said, Chris, how about the smoking gun evidence of the object that had wires inside it? Well, yeah, it looked like that rectangular box, right? With an intelligent design and colors on top of the ridge. The same video as the one with the sculptures recently. Yeah, absolutely. Whether you're seeing it here from a satellite view, whether you're seeing it from the ground, whatever it may be, I mean, again, you're just taking these small puzzle pieces, you're putting them together. Okay, we've seen it on the ground, we've seen it at satellites. You can see Jean Ward pulling these things apart. And if you noticed, look at this, it kind of goes hand in hand with what he's saying. Because look at this. Just about all of these structures have some kind of little circle or some kind of thing on top. And the ones he's seeing might be in a blast area where these things are scattered about. And this is the reason why they look like just stones, megalithic stones laying around. And that may not be the case at all. They may actually be structures or roofs of structures. How do we know? These things could have been built out of stone instead of we got shingle roofs and everything else. What would be stronger? Something a really large, like megalithic block laid on top as your roof, or like a cheesy wooden roof with shingles on it? Think about it. And what would give you more, you can basically hide, right? Of course, it'd be a little hard to hide if you got these kind of things showing because it's all in one area. But, stop any kind of radiation because you're under stone. There could be a whole range of reasons why they use that kind of thing. I don't know. But if you look again what John Ward shows, where it looks like these, like, I've seen one he had that looked like 6 chimneys on the darn thing with the slab on the ground. That's not normal. That's not natural. And when you see these other things you see here, you can see what looks like all these kind of weird shapes on top of these things. And it would be the same thing you see like in any large city, right? You got chimneys. And if you go to these real large cities, they got cell towers on top of them, satellite dishes, just all kinds of things, right? So it doesn't surprise me. It looks a lot like what stuff he's showing as well. Doug Triber, you said the first video of Ingenuity flying, I thought it had a hard landing, but the landing struts are flexible and cushion it. Yeah, they're basically like a flex steel, right? If you look at right next to, you got the leg itself, and just as it joins to the body, I believe it's like a round ring type thing, and it's like a flex steel. So this thing can actually handle that, right? They should send it to an anomalous site. There you go. Let me see. Let's see. Pat, you said Elon Musk wants to nuke Mars's ice caps to terraform. I don't think they need to. I think that's all a show for them, and it's just a PR move because what we're seeing here, I guarantee, at least I feel, that there's more than enough atmosphere on there. You and I could walk on there. Now, as far as cold at night, yeah, you'd have to get in the underground, you know what I mean, because it'd be just too cold. During the morning, like in the equatorial regions, you know, it could be like in the afternoon, it could probably get up to like, you know, in the summertime, that is, just like here on Earth. It'd be like, you know, 50 to 100 degrees or 50 to 70, depending on, you know, the day, of course. But to me, it just seems like, okay, I can wear a sweatshirt and be fine. As long as, and if what's the worst case scenario? Need a little bit of breathing apparatus because maybe the air is so thin. That makes sense, right? So, but you'd be able to walk around. Now, again, at night, you'd probably want to think twice if it's getting down to like 100 below zero or whatever it may be. And again, we've got these windy days, and I'm sure it's in the morning and in the afternoon. If we have that kind of temperature swings, it has to have this clashing of air to do that. So this is the reason why they probably fly that thing, the Ingenuity, probably around 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Mars time, so that it's pretty stable as far as flying, right? But like was said earlier, we were talking about, how come there was no dust kicked up when that thing's turning these blades at 25 to 2,800 RPMs, maybe even slower? Still, it should be some kind of dust being kicked up. Excuse me. X64 said a lot of it could be covered with dirt. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, Pat, you said, I want to camp out on Mars. Well, bring a nice warm sleeping bag. Robert Miller, you said, Chris, how do we show you our Mars anomaly discoveries? You can go to Mars Anomalies at AOL.com. And you can just send me a letter there, some photos, whatever. That'd be cool. You can do that. Ernest Hines Jr. said, NASA tells the public probably 5% of what they know. And our tax dollars pays for that BS. Absolutely. Couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, and the sad thing about it, like you said, it's, here's the thing. Like I said before, I think it's more like they just take the money now. They don't even bother to ask the public. Like I said, back in the day, during the Apollo missions, they asked, oh, if you please support us and everything else so we can get money, blah, 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 blah. Now they just steal it. And they wonder why the deficit and, trying to figure out why, where $8 trillion went. And the Canadians say, well, we just have no recollection of it. Imagine that. So, wouldn't surprise me. Yeah. Charlene, you said, I don't trust Elon Musk. He's talking to Pat. His Starling, I heard, is too really to really block us from going 4D. I don't know. I mean, I think he knows. Here's a perfect example. I think he knows everything about to do with Mars. And he said he wants to die there, and in a sense, I don't blame him. If he's seeing the things we're seeing here, listen, you could literally walk around this area. Just how long would it take you to inspect all of this? I mean, you could literally just walk around and look at the stuff that's been there, go throughout this whole thing. You could be there for years and still be finding something new. So I believe he knows a lot more than he's saying. And like he said, I'm really not, UFO. At least I don't believe in UFOs. And, I think they're out there, but we've never seen them, blah, 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 blah. And, of course, on a talk show, they said, well, what about the Tic Tac UFO and this, that, and he's, So it's almost like he's not willing to admit it, but you could almost bet, come on, again, he's subcontracted with NASA and he's doing his own thing as well. You can bet, even if NASA said, well, we really can't divulge that, well, then that's fine. I'll send my own craft. I mean, he's building his own spaceships. Why can't he send his own orbiter there? Even if it was just to go into the atmosphere a short time and crash and burn, he don't care. As long as he can get the information back, at least he's got this information. So now, yeah, he's good to go. So as far as I'm concerned, I think he knows a lot more than he's letting on. And I don't know if I'd say anything either, because he'd be haunted by everybody. Yep, Pastor... hold on. Go back here. Oh, hold on. Just jumped on me here. Yeah, Master Catnips, you said Elon Musk was given classified info. Well, you can almost guarantee it. Again, if he's working with, he's probably saying, hey, let me see the real photos. Come on. I'm not going to say nothing. I mean, come on. All right. And he probably said, wow. Oh, yeah, I definitely want to go there. I mean, think about it. And they said, well, can you breathe that? Well, yeah, you can. A little breathing apparatus, and you're ready to go. And of course, you'd have to shelter yourself at night. And, okay, we can do that. It's no different than people doing the North and South Pole and these observation places and where it's like windy as hell and, a couple 100 degrees below zero. And, yeah, come on. It could be easily done. Charlene said Elon's probably already been to Mars. Yeah, that I somehow wouldn't doubt. He said they keep crashing. Well, that's not good. Claudia had a chance. Elon the wanker. Well, I mean, to me, like I said, I respect him. I look up to the guy. The guy is brilliant, very smart. I mean, but it's kind of like, I feel about NASA. I like everything about NASA. I love, again, the technology that comes out of this stuff when they're building spacecraft, and it helps the regular airlines because they improve theirs and so on and so forth, and the technology that eventually rolls down to our homes and stuff like that. I'm okay with that. What I'm not okay with is what they're not divulging is not telling us what they're really finding on these moons, planets, and everything else. And that's what I have an issue with. I don't hate NASA by any stretch. Some people are like, oh, they're effing liars, so therefore I wouldn't trust them. Well, you don't have to trust them, but I like for what they are. We're trying to be spacefaring. We are doing our thing to get to these planets, but darn, man, show us what's really going on. That's what we want to see. And like I said, they don't have to give out this whole information, just smack dab right and just toss it on the table. But it'd be nice to give us some, throw some good sized bones every now and then so we can actually see what's going on, and then lead up to almost like completely disclosure, because I think that'll take a bit of time. I don't think we'll ever see that, at least in my lifetime. But regardless, work towards it at least. Third eye open. You said, I'm with you I'm with you, Chris, on Musk. Yeah, I mean, like I said, I respect the guy. I think he's awesome. If I could meet him, I'd shake his hand and have a long conversation with him. I think he's, like I said, he's an entrepreneur. He's pushing for basically the human race to expand and be otherworldly. I don't see a problem with that. I just, again, you can bet he knows what these guys know. And, of course, he's not going to tell anybody. He's just going to keep it to himself. Boysenberry Dracula said there's usually survivors of any calamity, Any survivors that you reckon? I don't know. Truthfully, I don't know. I'm not saying they can't be, but because clearly they could be. Because they could have done like what we done, right? If they knew there was a pending doom, you'd prep for it, right? But what if you had like the movie like Deep Impact, right? If they didn't stop it, of course in the movie they stop it, but let's suppose they didn't stop the big rock from coming in, right? You're basically done. I mean, you can hide if you want to, but unless you prep for it to have food and hide underground for like months at a time, hell, it'd probably have to be a good year before you can even think about coming back out of the ground. Because, if you had a rock the size of Texas, it's all over. It's basically a, end civilization event. So if you're lucky enough to be able to get underground where there's food and everything you need, then you're golden. But when you come back out of the ground, it's going to be a complete crap hole. It's going to be, everything's pretty much dead because it goes into nuclear winter, it blocks the sun out, all the plants die. A lot of the creatures will because they feed off the plants. So almost nothing's going to be alive. And then, at some point it will come back out because not everything will completely die. But it'll take time to ramp back up. Now, again, if you're lucky enough to be like in a place where it has the seed vault, well, then you can come back out. The sun's back out. We can start planting and we can eat again and we can start building. And it would take quite a bit of time. You'd almost be knocked back into the Dark Ages. So, literally. So, to me, that's, what are you guys' thoughts on that? Ricardo, thank you very much for your support, brother. I do appreciate it. He said, Chris, tonight's episode has been fantastic. Let's all try to remain skeptical, not cynical, and keep asking questions and examining the images. The truth is up there. Oh, yeah, no doubt. And, you try to, I try to play devil's advocate and try to be, play both sides if you can. Because if you want to analyze anything, right, you got to be rational, but sometimes you got to go on the kind of almost like sci-fi side, if you will. But, sometimes it helps to be a little cynical, and skeptical is always good because, you don't just believe everything somebody tosses at you, right? You don't just swallow everything somebody throws at you, but you want to analyze it yourself. So you got to be skeptical, and sometimes you're cynical about it, but I think at the end of the day, if you look at a photo like this, you're just going, okay, I'm analyzing everything here. I'm seeing what looks like structures and roads and, spaces here and there and different things. And, my mind, what I see is structures. So clearly, NASA's lying. And what I'm seeing is intelligently made. So that's the way I look at it. I always try to be, if you're going to have an open mind, it's kind of weird because you're open mind and skeptical, but it's good to be both sides, right? I think it just helps you analyze it better, as far as I'm concerned. That's a great question, Justy. I haven't really thought about it. I know you guys have suggested a couple. You said 2 weeks to Hangout 100. What do you want? What will you do? And what should we do? I don't know. What are you guys thinking? I think I asked you this question before, and I'm saying, if it's to do something quite large, I don't know if I can do it because of the working stuff like that. Some of the weeks are crazy. And if it was to put something together here, it would take quite a bit of time because, you don't want to make, like, I think we were talking about doing, like, all your best finds and stuff like that, which is cool, but it'll take a bit of time because, it ain't going to be just like a, 30-second video. So if you had to do something like that, I guess. I thought of something else that would probably be pretty cool. So I don't know if I'll do that yet. But I got things in my mind, but like I said, a lot of times it's time-consuming, and I hate to say, hey, guys, this is exactly what we're going to do on this day, and then because I was so busy, I failed to do that, and I don't want to do that. You know what I'm saying? Yes, Robert, you said there's a government report on UFOs coming out in June, part of the COVID-19 bill. Well, again, I mean, they just released about the triangular UFO. And so it's like they're trying to get it out quickly, but I'm not so sure if these are alien or not. You know, again, I hate the fact that these are always thermal imaging, night vision. It's never during the day. Why is that? Think about it. If I was to put it in night vision, I can make that CGI and then say, oh, it's night vision. And you would never know the difference because it hides the CGI so well. Same thing with the heat signature camera and infrared. It's kind of the same, almost the same way. We could fake that out and I can make it look like that kind of, I don't know. You know, I'd love to see something during the day. Like you can actually see a guy on a ship, a warship, going, hey, look what I just saw. Boom, and takes a picture in the daytime, crystal clear. And then we can really see for sure. Now, I don't mean, you know, a lot of times they're not crystal clear because they're moving. But if you can get it somewhat clear, that would be awesome, wouldn't it? I mean, come on, be honest, guys. That would be cool. But you never seem to see that. And it's always some kind of, different light spectrum, or it's, you know, like I said, night vision, whatever. It's like, God. Man, sounds like a plan, Pat. He said, fix it to take the kiddos to Sonic after this. You know, we'll be jumping off this thing pretty soon anyway, because I got to get some things done myself. But, you know, the thing is, like, guys, like I said, every time I see something like this, now I got another photo coming out, and it's almost like when we seen the blurring on that video of the helicopter, right? You see the blurring. Well, I mean, this one's so, like, right in your face, and I believe this is Curiosity rover. It's right there in your face, and when you try to get through the blurring, you can see things on a hillside. So that one's coming up as well. It'll probably be out Monday. So I'm trying to get 2 to 3 of these. I'm going to try to reach for 3 if I can, every other day if I can. 2 would be the norm, and 3 would be like if I can get them out, depending on how much I'm busting my hump there during the week. But guys, can you imagine if I wasn't working? This would be sweet. I'd be like knocking a video out a day. Like, bam. But yeah. So but yeah, I'm trying to get out as many as I can. But like I said, I mean, to me, it's like, it's kind of like even if it's 3 times a week, meaning 2 videos, and then we do the Friday, which I enjoy doing. So that to me is just cool because it's something to look forward to at the end of the week. So I enjoy that a lot. So Josh D said, not to worry. We are just happy you do this in this way. Yeah. I mean, again, I love, just talking with like-minded people like yourselves. It's cool to just get together and just, and talk about and discuss certain things. And again, to me, it's like a learning curve. Sometimes you guys will bring up something I never even heard of, and I'll say, well, I'll check that out. And then there's times I'll bring up something somebody's maybe new to the channel and they didn't know, and they say, wow, I never knew that. So it's a learning curve. If you're not learning something new every day, you stop growing, guys. You stop living. So, as far as I'm concerned, I learn from you guys just like you may pick up some things from me, and that's what it's all about. Again, a conversation with like-minded people. I don't know how many of you guys have said, man, I tell you what, man, it's a great place to be, because when I'm with somebody else, talking to my family, something like that, they look at me like I got 3 heads, and I'm going, well, because they're not putting the time in to investigate it on things that actually that you find interest in. Like my wife, she sees these things, well, that was pretty cool, but does she really give a rat's crack? Not really. She could, and that doesn't make her a bad person. It's just not something she's interested in. Now, if I asked her, what a TV show had on, she could probably tell you. Like she watches SVU and shows like that. I think they're cool and all. Don't get me wrong, I like them shows, but I really ever have time to do that. I'll be honest with you guys. I might watch a movie maybe on the weekend, and then the rest of the time I try to get out of the house because I'm pretty much stuck in it. I'm either in work or I'm at this computer. So I try to get out and get some things done and just hang around, go to the park, walk around, maybe go up the hills up there in the mountains and stuff, and just to get out, just period. And, so right now this week, at least a good half of the week, 3/4 of the week, nature basically has gone mental. But on the other side of the token now, she'll get better because at least this week it's starting to get warmer, which is good. And we can get out a little bit more, which I'm going to really enjoy, of course. So, and I'm sure you guys are the same way. I mean, you get this cabin fever, man. You want to get the hell out. You're just like, oh my God, this stinks, man. I just want to get out the house. James, thank you again for your support, man. You said, Chris, man, you have been showing us evidence for a long time now. In regards to explaining what you are able to do, you already have done it. Well, I appreciate that. I really do. like I said, I love the fact that I've had people tell me, listen, man, you don't understand. When you do these videos, we all just like grab popcorn, the whole family just sit down and watch these videos. And then there's times where people go, listen, I never was privy to all of this stuff. When I started watching this stuff, first they were skeptical, and then they're looking, wow. So then they decided to do this stuff themselves, and they can't get enough of it. So I've done my job. And that's, if I can get people onto this and look at it more, and that's what this is really aimed at. This is why I do this stuff. It really is. It's, you know, people can laugh and say, well, you know, one guy was like, you know, a smart ass kind of thing. It was like, oh, yeah, you're lying to the people just to make money. Money? What do you think I'm like making? What do you think I'm driving around in a Rolls right now? Come on, man. Yeah, I mean, you make a few dollars here and there. And I even said that I monetize for a reason. I spend hours behind the computer, and it helps me upgrade anything in the computer and maybe offset a couple little bills. But I mean, I'm not making a fortune on this stuff. Now, if I had, 2 billion subscribers, I might see your point. But, I'm honest with you guys. I monetize for that reason, but my time is also money, just like yours. I wouldn't ask one person here to please put in at least 5 to 8 hours a day, and I want you to work for the freebie. Nobody's going to do that. Your time's money. And I would respect that out of anybody here, because that's what the truth is, right? Let's be honest. So, but my bottom line is to get the truth out, because I find it fascinating. I want to share this with everybody, and that's how it's always been. And I haven't been monetizing until up to, 3 years ago? So, and I've been doing this since 2012. Do the math, okay? So, I mean, it's not like I've been monetizing all this time, so it's not about really the money. It's just I said, well, it could help offset a couple things, so why not? But that's not my main, motive here, right? And that's just being truthful with you guys. That's just the way I look at it. Let me get a sip here. Somebody's mowing the lawn outside. It's 57 degrees. It's not too bad. But like I said, I mean, I'm always, transparent with you guys. That's the way I want to be. To me, it's just like, I'm not going to BS nobody here. I'm just going to tell it like it is. And, and that's how honesty is the best policy as far as I'm concerned. And that's how I always rolled. No, it's not about defending, Josh. I'm just telling it like it is. I'm being honest with you guys. You said no need to defend monetizing, Chris. You need stuff too. Well, like I said, I've got a job. So, I'm making millions now. But like I said, to me, it's like that's just a byproduct as far as I'm concerned. It's getting this stuff out, and everybody's starting to jump on this wagon to do it themselves. That's my payoff. Truthfully, that's my payoff. I love that. I can put this back. I didn't realize I still had my camera off because I was busy looking at this photo. But that's the truth here, guys. To me, that's a byproduct as far as monetization. But as far as the, sure, I'll put the money to use because, like I said, a new computer. I've done this one here. I've went from 16 gigs to 80 gigs of RAM. Get better monitors. In fact, I want to get a better one for this side. Same exact monitor. This is a Dell monitor, but it's high definition. 27-inch, really clear. And but I want to get another one of those. And like I said, just tweaked out the CPU a little bit. Just bumped up the voltage there, make it just slightly faster. Nothing to make it go stupid and blow up on me. But the thing is to get better and just keep on doing this work for you guys. And that's what it's all about. And that's what it helps do. So that's it. It's just pretty simple. Like I said, I'm not going to bull crap anybody here. I don't want to do that. Boysenberry Dracula said, this channel is real X-Files for real. I love watching it. I appreciate that, Boysenberry. And like I said, I enjoy doing these. You know what? In a million years, when I first started doing these, I'm going, okay, maybe I won't find anything, maybe I will. And then I just started catching on to how they were covering this stuff up. And I was just like, oh my God, wow, I can actually bring that out. So don't get me wrong, you can't do it on everything. You can try as you may, it's not going to happen. Like you can say, wow, there's that blur right there. I wonder if I can blast it, maybe get a shape out of it, what's hiding behind it. Sometimes you can, other times you can't. Depends on how dense the actual censoring is, right? So, and that's what it's all about. You have to learn the techniques to try to pull these things out. And again, I showed you guys the regular photo of this, and then you can see the enhanced version to bring out all of these structures and these ruins, if you will, if they even are ruins. But to me, they look like it. And of course, we did the comparison with the other photo right here, and over here in India. Let me put that back like this. And like I said, that looks so much like what we're seeing here in the video. In that photo, rather. Voice is getting real dry. Hate it when that happens. But again, look at this section right here on the left-hand side, halfway up the photo. Look at that. Now, some people, if they've seen that, and I put it in black and white, just centered just on that square part alone, they'd say, oh, that's pixelation. Really? And then when you show them the photo, oh, I guess I was wrong. It's like, yeah, you were. But, you know, this is the reason why I want to do that. I wanted to show you guys in comparison, because I know some of you guys would be on the fence about it, saying, maybe it's not, man. Maybe it's, you know, is this guy just, you know, just blowing smoke up our rear ends? But here we go. Here's a comparison right here. And Chennai, India, you know, showing in 2004, there was a tsunami that hit this whole coast. So, and you can see what's left of it. It looks the same thing, almost the same thing we're looking at there on Mars. So, you know, again, I'm not here to jam it down anybody's throat. I'm saying here, this is what I found. Guys, I think you'll like this. Tell me what you think. You guys get the last say. And that's the way I roll. And I think that's the best policy. Anybody tells you, oh, no, it's absolutely this. I don't believe that. I just don't want to do that kind of thing, you know? It's about all of us looking into it and then pulling it apart. That's, again, my payoff. That's what it comes down to. Anyway, guys, I'm going to blast. I'm going to jump on off of this. Always great to be here with you all. And I appreciate this, the love and the support of all of you. Whether, again, if it's monetary, cool. It's more the thank yous that I get from you guys. That's the payoff for me because it's literally coming from you. It's anybody can say, hey, some money. But when you say, you know, you're doing gret work and stuff like that, that to me just makes you feel good. You want to keep at it and keep doing these things, and that's what makes it really worth it, to be honest with you. And I enjoy doing it. I just, you know, I keep saying to my wife, I said, I swear to God, I'm going to quit this other job. We're not going to be doing this, something I love more. And guess what? There's nothing physically involved here. You know, so, but again, I'm not making money hand over fist on this stuff. So, but I'm okay with it. I don't mind working, you know what I mean? And doing this on the side, so it's cool. It's a hobby I enjoy doing, and I love sharing it with you guys. So it works out well for everybody, right? So, yeah, I mean, another good one, guys. Another awesome hangout. Another cool Friday evening. Nothing like it. I look forward to it. In fact, I was running around doing the things I had to do today and taking the car down and doing a couple things with myself, washing it and all this other stuff. And I said, you know what? I can't wait for this evening. This is going to be awesome. And I want to go over the photos, and plus we want to talk about the helicopter and how I think that's kind of iffy, and I think that thing's already flown. It's already done its mission. I think it's just, again, this is just PR puppetry to show us right now. Just BS, as far as I'm concerned. But that's just my opinion again. But again, as always, another great hangout. You guys are awesome. That's all I can say. You guys are the bomb. And but like I said, when I did show it to you guys in the video, when I did say about when you hit the subscribe and that bell, make sure you do hit the all, because I know when I went round and round with these people, remember we had was not last hangout, but the week out hangout prior to that one. Remember we had the thumbs down dropping? I think I told you that story. I jumped right onto these guys, said, hey, what's going on? And this is the actual Google team. And they said, well, we're going to put the team on this. We're going to find out what's going on, blah, 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 blah. I said, I'd appreciate it if you did that. So they said, I said, okay, that's fine. You know, I appreciate it. And I said, I noticed a couple of my views drop when I'm not looking to it. I look at it, it shows one, and all of a sudden it's dropped down 15 views or 20 views or whatever it may be. Oh, we'll definitely look into it. I said, okay. So, so to me, it's just like, you don't want, you want your channel, you want everybody to see what you've got to show, but if they're going to hide it from the people, what good is it? You know, and I'm going, aren't you guys shooting yourself in the foot? Like I said before, if you're not putting my videos out there as suggested videos, then what's the point? But they came back and they told me, they said, well, here's the thing. You've got X amount of people that watch your videos. I think it was like 70% was actually subscribed. They're not all subscribed to you, which is not good, because you're not going to get a notification like that. Now, I don't know if that's automatically, because some of you guys said, well, I've been getting kicked off of it. I subscribe and I get kicked off. And that wouldn't be the first time I heard somebody say that. But they said, of all the people that are watching, only 60 or 70% are subscribed, and only, what was it? It was real low. It was like, what was it? 30 or 40% actually hit the all. This is the reason why they not get notified. That's why I passed it on to you guys, so you guys don't miss it. But I don't believe it's all your fault. I believe it's something to do with the algorithms or something with YouTube, and that's why I'm thinking it's crap. And I don't think that's right, especially when you're supposed to be in a partnership with these people. And in fact, they're screwing themselves, because if they're not showing your videos, people are not watching them. Are they not losing money on advertisements. I mean, come on. So, whatever. Like I said, it's not hurt my feelings in one way or the other. I just want people to see it so they can actually see what's going on. So, I don't know. It's just weird. Every time you turn around, there's something jerky going around with YouTube, and I'll drink to that. Anyway, guys, always a great evening. Friday evenings, I love it with you guys. Like I said, I got another one coming up Monday, so stay tuned for that one. And it's probably going to be a part 2 to the one we just done because there's all the crazy stuff in there. And somebody already talked about that, saying, hey, wow, you ought to take a look at this other part of the photo. This is great. You got to look at this. And I already had plans to do it. So stay tuned for that as well, because we're going to delve into that a little bit deeper on the other sides too, and some more interesting things. So just stay tuned for that. But anyway, guys, again, thanks for being here. Thanks for your support. You guys are awesome. Love you all. Everybody have a great evening, great weekend coming up. I'll be glad once I'm out of work tomorrow, I can chill, just sit in the recliner and just, boom, veg. That's what it comes down to. Maybe get out. Maybe the weather will be good. And I think you guys will agree you'd want to get out and do the same thing. So, and I don't blame you, right? Weather's been crap on and off. So I get it. And guys, if you haven't hit the thumbs up, please do so. It helps to get this stuff out. I'm telling you, from what I've read, it's like the more the thumbs up, the more apt to want to share the video on the sides. So anytime you guys see a new video, just automatically hit the thumbs up, because it's going to be good content. I try to get out the best ones I can. I'm not just blowing my own horn, I promise you. But I'm saying, like this one here, when I said, guys, you're going to hit the thumbs up, you won't be sorry. Because I try to bring you guys the best stuff, because I think, it's what it was. I want to get the best stuff out. So when they see these thumbs up, they love it. It's like they're more apt to want to share the video. So, and the more people will get on board, and of course they'll see more and more, and then that's how it rolls. So that's what I'm hoping to do. So, anytime you guys see a video go on, you just want to hit the thumbs up. It's always appreciated. You guys know that. And then, channel just gets bigger. More people see it, more of it. That's what it comes down to. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. Have yourselves a good one. I got to get there. Maybe I'll eat the rest of my sandwich. What do you guys think? Should I do that, or should I? Yeah, I think we should do that, huh? Charlene showing 100% hearts. Thank you, Charlene, and thank you for your support. Everybody's support here. It's really awesome. Like a great live chat, like Samantha was saying. I don't know if I said hi to you, Samantha. I'm almost positive of it, but if I didn't, hello. Much love to you. You said thanks, Chris. Bye all. Valerian, the Mac 3. Good to see you in there. Got the old aliens there. Those are cool. Renee Vaughn says, okay, Chris, nice hangout. Chat and Chris, have a very nice weekend until the next 99, almost 100. Peace later. So, yeah. Arts and crafts. Good to see everybody in there, too. Appreciate it there, Cloudy, with a chance of UFOs. I always like, as soon as I join, just what I do. This content deserves it. I appreciate it. And like I said, I mean, and here's the thing, too. The thumbs up alone just say, it's showing love, too. And that you guys concur with a lot of stuff we're seeing in there. And like I said, I always automatically, any channels I'm even part of, I just automatically, as soon as a video starts, because I know that's the reason why I'm subscribed to it, right? So I go click, I automatically give them the thumbs up because I know what they're going to show is going to be good stuff. So that's why I do it. And it helps their channel out. I like helping other people out, too. I don't mind it. It's awesome to do that. Anyway, guys, like I said, jumping off. Everybody have a great one. Be good. Be safe. And enjoy the weather outside if it's nicer in your area. Anyway, guys, I'm going to let you go. It is what? 7... Why don't we do this? It's 7:13 now. I'll leave it on until 7:15. You guys can chat it up a little bit more. And then I want to shut the stream down. As always, it gives you guys... This is the reason why I do it 10 minutes in the beginning. And then maybe 10 to 15 at the end. So you guys can chat it up a little bit more before you jump off. And like I said, before you leave, just go ahead and, hit the thumbs up and then shut the light off. Oh, not the light off, but yeah. But anyway, guys, peace to you all. Much love. We'll see you guys soon.